Welcome to the extra edition of the American Cup. We've already finished the classical tournament. Hikaru won that in great style, defeating Fabiano Caruana in the winners final and in the grand final. A clean sweep from him there. But now we have one encore. It is the Blitz tournament, which is an open tournament. All the players based in St. Louis can join, and we're gonna be in for 9 rounds of Blitz chess. I'm Jon Ludwig Hammer, and I'm joined by James Canty III to guide you through this. And in the first round, James, Karissa Yip.
Yes, aggressive game, of course. It's going to be fun to see what is going to be played here with Hikaru and Karissa. Karissa is a very aggressive player. As we saw her in the Women's U.S. Championship, she went 9-0, almost had a Bobby Fischer there, but of course she is facing Hikaru here in Blitz in the fast time control, where Hikaru is one of the greatest ever to do it in this time format. So let's see what happens. So far, so good. E4, E5. The stuff's coming in fast too, 3 minute. And I guess they get 2 second increments. It's not like 1 second.
Yeah, 2 second increments, and Hikaru here goes for the bishop opening, which is a not very distant cousin of the Italian that has been so popular in this tournament. But by delaying the development of the knight, Hikaru actually chooses to bring the queen out early.
Yeah, this is aggressive. He wants maybe knight G to E2, moving the bishop and casting queenside, something that Carissa is actually very used to, as well as she plays in this type of way, very aggressive player herself. You can also see stuff like G4 being played at some point too as well. But C6 from Carissa, maybe intending a D5.
Okay, Hikaru for now keeps developing his pieces. Karissa already 30 seconds down on the clock here. She has to make a decision whether to capture Hikaru's bishop at some point, but she feels it isn't necessary to take it before the bishop actually can escape down to the edge of the board.
In fact, we see H3 to stop bishop G4, and he castles kingside. Very good move. Knight G3 to F5 is definitely something to look out for from White's standpoint, as this is what we're looking to do. Knight G3, swing into F5 to be quite annoying to Black's position, bring some pieces into the game.
Oh my
G5!
god. Engine did not like Hikaru's castling move, and the reason it didn't like it was knight takes bishop, followed by pawn to G5. I wanted to say it out loud because I wasn't sure it was going to happen, but here Karissa goes. And you know your stuff, James. Karissa is a very aggressive player. You told me. I just didn't believe that she would be able to keep that aggression when she's facing off against one of the most difficult players to face in the world. But she stays true to her style and has actually grabbed an advantage with this attack.
We do come from the same bloodline of course, the Grandmaster Mikhail Taos and Rashid Nesmedinovs back in the day, as it is in our bloodline to play chess like this, regardless of who you are facing. And she is going for with G5, H5. Of course, I've seen Karissa play mini games, and she does the exact same thing all the time. She's going to play true to herself, which she's doing now, even against Hikaru, but it is going to be a Herculean task, as you say, from Danya. Shout out to Danya Naroditsky. But when you're facing Hikaru here, no matter what type of position you have, he's not going to ever just let you have it here. In fact, in Title Tuesday, he consistently uses the modern defense, and he says he likes to use this from his mouth. He says, I like to have the imbalances. I love having the chances to win here. So bishop h6 with rook g8, g4 stuff is quite frightening at some point, but maybe we have something we could do about this.
Carissa's really putting pressure on her esteemed opponent. It is not a given that when you play black in Blitz against Hikaru, you have to consider that you'll just get wiped off the board, but that is not the case here. Karissa is making her presence felt.
Absolutely. She's making him think just a little bit more. And that's what you kind of want when you're playing these players. Hey, just think a little bit longer, if you will. You know, this is Blitz. Just take your time. think a little bit. She is on him. I'm not gonna lie, she is on him right now, bro. She's
Yeah,
definitely
here
on
we're
him.
looking at a potential trade between the pawns on the king side. That's going to open up for the rook to point down on Hikaru's king. Karissa is down 30 seconds on the clock, but in the position, she has a winning situation right now.
Wow, you know what? If I was able to win this, I'd probably like back out the rest of the tournament. I'm done. I'm good. I don't need to play no more. If I was able to, cuss to win there, why do I need to play more chess? In fact, so no, but she is going to try obviously her best to convert with this in game or sorry, this aggressive attack that she has over here to try not make it to an in game where Hikaru probably even be better there. F4 might be coming in. Oh, knight G4 is going to be gross. Oh my goodness, yikes. Whoa,
Yeah,
this
for now,
backfired.
Hikaru is keeping his king safe. For Hikaru, it's all about survival right now. He managed to keep his king safe, and he will be able to make some threats over on Karissa's queen side. The black king is struggling to find a safe placement for the long term.
Yeah, he is gonna go queen side. That's why he played the a6 move. Makes total sense. Knight a4. She's like, sure, go ahead, go if you can. Well, she can. I guess knight b6. Is there a rook sack? Wait a second. Oh no, knight b6, king b8, rook a6. But that might be too much. She might go king c7. Okay.
For now, Karissa has made her decision on where to put her king, and it looks very reasonable. Karissa also still is up a pawn. There's no chance for Hikaru getting that pawn back anytime soon. Hikaru is trying to attack the dark squares on the board. Notice how all the white pawns close to the black king are on the light squares. So now Hikaru can try to utilize double question mark? No.
Double.
Well, the move being recommended is bishop to g4, but
Yeah,
there's
come
no
on.
way
Come
Karissa
on.
will find that.
Yeah, Mr. G4, you've lost your absolute. Like, what do you mean? This was
But I mean,
G4.
the idea is
Wow.
pretty. I like no, because you can always.
King
It
G2 and
would
run
be
away.
cool if
Yeah.
it was like some kind of a repetition that could entice her into going in that direction.
Takes. Yeah, I can see this. This is double edged. It definitely okay. She wants H4. She's probably going to sacrifice. Maybe H4 and sacrifice, knowing how Karissa plays. I'm gonna have Hikaru. I know I have something here. I'm going to try. So maybe Bishop E6 first. Bishop C8 she chose. Knight C4. Very quick move from Hikaru attacking E5.
Hikaru knows he's in trouble. He's trying to increase his pace to stress out Karissa. Karissa down to just 20 seconds right now, and she's moving her knight away from the white king. That is welcome for Hikaru.
It's kind of crazy. Like, I we're so used to seeing what we saw in the last few days. I forgot the time so quickly. And you said 20 seconds. And I'm like, wow, she has no time to convert this. So very difficult to do as you have to use the time as a piece as well. Be very vigilant and careful with your time usage here, as Hikaru is definitely back in the game. The knight helps control some squares on the king side and defend the king while also being a nuisance into black's position on f5.
So even down a pawn, Hikaru has survived the worst of it. Karissa had some opportunities to try and sacrifice more pieces around the white king, but instead Hikaru managed to coordinate his pieces close to his king to keep that stuff defended. And now Hikaru hopes that he has a strategic advantage on the opposite side. No strategic advantage. Hikaru just goes for the checkmate.
Yeah,
and
this is
Karissa
looking
has
rough.
only seconds to deal with this.
Knight d5 and the button will be hit very soon, aka resign or stop the clock.
And now the knight comes in. That's a check on the king, attack on the bishop. The king cannot move to defend the bishop because the queen was controlling that square. And this allows Hikaru to go for the trade of queens, taking out the bishop and then taking out some pawns in the process as well. What a fight from Karissa. She did so well to put pressure on Hikaru. Hikaru was definitely sweating there at some moments, and just having the guts to push your pawns up against the opponent's king like this was great from her. But in the end, Hikaru managed to safeguard his king and then was able to use his superiorly placed knights to win the game.
Yeah, you always have to remember Karissa is very, very strong and also very underrated, to say the least. So she definitely brought it to Hikaru here. But hey, it's blitz. Time got low, and Hikaru was able to convert. So we got the job done.
We're going to jump to some of the games still going on. A lot of the established players against the women on the top boards. Hikaru took down Karissa Yip. Here's Wesley So having to deal with Alice Lee, the winner of the classical portion of this tournament. Alice is down a pawn, and that pawn could potentially be pushed through the center of the board. Very dangerous. Oh,
whoa,
God.
Was that real? No, okay. Yeah, that was a
that was a mistake in the relay. She did not give away her queen like that. That is for Dominguez only. But in the meantime, Wesley maneuvering his knight very nicely into the game, manages to grab another pawn on the edge of the board. And with a 2-pawn superiority, in addition to having this amazing knight, Wesley is going to win this without much trouble.
Yeah, very strong here as Wesley So loves these type of positions, picking up, well, maybe not the queen, but easy trade. King E1, queen trade, and GG. Good stuff from Wesley.
And Karissa resigns in that position because Wesley was about to get the queen trade after having won another pawn, 3 pawns up. And we have some more news here. All the games have finished, but we're going to review some of the surprising results we have.
Anna B. Oh, shout out to Anna, man.
No, wait. I think it's a mistake. Because Hikaru was on board 1 with the white pieces, Wesley on board 2 with the black pieces, Fabi on board 3 with white, and then here it says Dominguez is white, but he should have been black if that previous order is to be believed. So I think actually there's a mistake here about who had the white pieces and who had the black pieces. So I'm going to try to get that confirmed. How can we get that confirmed? Do you know the website they're using for the pairings?
I am actually on chess.com events. I'm just using events page for me. Actually, I can go back to round 1 to see. Round 1 showed Anna being black.
Dominguez is not paired among the top boards for the next round, which does suggest he did lose this game. It would be very unusual for him to be white next to Fabiano, who was also white. But I think for the moment, we're going to have to believe this information. Sargsyan, the Armenian, has taken down Dominguez.
I'm checking the game right now. She got a nasty
event, or you just want to have fun and
F4, swung it around, double the rook, sacked on F4 like a big.
Yeah, honestly, I just want to have
so
fun.
let's take a look at this big upset from the first round. She had the doubled pawns on a half-open file. This is from the Italian Opening that we've seen so much of in this tournament. Dominguez was trying to get all his pressure against this E5 pawn. But in order to create some chaos on the board, Anna Sargsyan, she played her knight to this F4 square, despite that square being controlled by an opposing pawn. She sacrificed her knight for just a pawn, and Dominguez felt forced to give up his rook in order to get rid of that annoying knight. Now, this still seemed like it was okay for Dominguez coming in with the knight attack against the queen and against the black pawn, but the queen rerouted itself closer to the white king. And here comes the rook together with the queen, the attack against the knight. For the moment, Dominguez is finding the right defensive moves, and having 2 knights versus a rook is normally an advantage for the knights. Oh, look at this. She starts a new front with attacks against 3 pawns at the same time. And Dominguez crumbles here, gets a double question mark. The queen is attacking from the left. The rook is attacking in from the right. Okay, she changed it up again. Oh, and she just had the queen pointing down on the king and the pawn attacking the knight. Apparently, it was that easy, and she takes home a big win here. And look at how she traded. She gave up her rook in trade for this knight, but because she had pawns rushing forward, both on the left side and on the right side, she's winning this pawn endgame.
Very strong, big upset, and big confidence too as well going into the next round. What does she have this game? Actually, she is now going to play. I was not even up here. It's like a whole nother set of players.
So let's just go through the top results. Hikaru beats Karissa, Wesley beats Alice, Fabiano beats Irina, and failing to get the quadfecta. Is that a word?
That's a new one. I like that. That's new.
Dominguez cannot take down Anna Sargsyan, which breaks the established world stars. Taking down the girls there. Sam Sevian beats Tianji Wang. Ray Robson beats Kostya. Kostya, of course, of the chess dojo coaching fame. And Gregory Oparin takes down the other Anna Satonsky.
Very strong showing here, especially for the underdogs in the tournament, as they are swinging back here. They are not going down without a fight, and without a big fight, that is, too, as well. Anna with a huge upset there. Now we have on the board set up now, on the DGT boards at least, there's a whole different kind of different names. Victor Gazik here. Levon Aronian's in there. Got Antipov on the DGT board as well. Verusian Akobian's another one. Yasser Perez. Nice to see these guys.
So this is the next round. People in chat are asking, when will the next round start? It's going to start in 15 minutes, according to the schedule that they announced.
That's a huge break for Blitz. That's crazy.
It's the standard break for the World Blitz and Rapid Championship, but in the World Blitz and Rapid, they have more participants.
Yeah, it's like a few hundred or something crazy.
But they also need some time to adjust the settings for the digital boards and input the new names and stuff like that. Wesley So faces up against Vasif Drabaili. Fabiano Caruana with the black pieces against Victor Gasek. Like James said, Aronian against the former world junior champion Antipov. Sevian versus Kevlashvili. Ray Robson against Quesada Perez. And Gregory Oparin facing Var Akobian, one of the old school stars of the US team. He's not making it to the US team in the Olympiads these days, huh?
Yeah, he's just he's chilling. He's in St. Louis doing his thing. I remember back he was on MTV one time. Like I forgot the name of it. You can Google it, guys, but he was on MTV one year, and I remember he was so hyped. He was doing a backflip. I was like, dang, this guy, it was I think it was True Life. That's what it is. True Life day in the life of, and he was on TV. I remember watching it, and I was so hyped, being in like high school or something, playing chess and like seeing him on, I'm a professional chess player or something he did a backflip showing his training regiments. I'm sure it's on YouTube, guys, but that was sweet. That was the heydays for Verusian Akobian.
Okay, we have some questions from the chat, and then we're going to take our break. People are asking, is this tournament just win the most and you win? That is from Mini C, and that is absolutely correct.
Absolutely.
9 rounds, you play against other people who have the same amount of points as yourself, and whoever wins the most points in the 9 rounds wins the tournament.
Very nice.
Okay, we're gonna take a break, and we'll be back in 10 minutes with game number 2. We're looking forward to the rematch, Abimanyu Mishra against Hikaru Nakamura. We're back, and they seem to have abandoned their schedule. Don't really know how that's going to work for the next couple of rounds, but for now, it means that we have the action going on sooner than expected. An Italian game here from the get-go. I'm Jon Ludvighammer. I'm with me is James Canty, and James. How did this go differently?
She had a good.
Well, you weren't here then.
Yeah, I wasn't here for that.
Say something smart.
Well, here, in fact, we are in Hikaru's wheelhouse, as he's played this many times from both colors, actually, here. So something topical, something we've seen many times, many ways to go here from black and white. So he didn't go with A6 or A5 yet. There it is, A6. So he went with the A6 route. We're going to see stuff like 97 around the G6. Usually, basically, kind of what we saw in the Ana game against Lanier. Knight H5, knight over to F4. You can go bishop E6 when you like. You can go queen E8. You're trying to break with D5. These are all the ideas you play.
Okay, and Hikaru has managed to surprise Abimanyu. He got a slight time advantage now, which could prove very important in the long term. I think Hikaru is feeling a bit unlucky having to face Abimanyu in this early phase of the tournament. Although, to be honest, Wesley is playing Durability on the second board. So we're just in a phase already in the tournament where the top players are going to be playing one another. And I want to remind everyone that Mishra did manage to beat Hikaru in one game of their Blitz tiebreaker during the normal classical tournament a week ago.
And here we go with this knight g4 move. Knight takes will allow us to pin the knight on f3 with a very uncomfortable pin, slightly annoying. So probably won't see a capture there, but we will see something. A4. 97.
Doreen asks, didn't Hikaru win the tournament? Yes, he did, but this is a new tournament, Blitz tournament.
Very fast chess. Faster chess, guys. Faster. Faster chess. Knight g6 around the f4. There's also ideas with king h8 and f5, which is a very aggressive type of route, especially in blitz, as you want to put your opponent under some serious time pressure if possible.
And so far, so good for Hikaru. He has that 30-second edge. I don't know why he's thinking now, though. If you moved your knight up, it must be because you were planning to make the trade. The problem here is that now that f4 square that James wanted to use for this knight is no longer available.
Kind of annoying. So I'm now looking at something like a king h8 to play f5. Not king h7. I really don't want to be on the light squares. B5 from Mishra here. I don't really think I need to even respond to this. Maybe I will take and make the queen a little bit further away from everything. But
I like queen e7 followed by bishop e6. That would be my preference. Hikaru does use that h7 square you didn't want.
I didn't like that because of the light squares later. Like being on that diagonal later is just not, you don't want to be there.
Well, now you don't have to be concerned about that. The bishop is far away from this diagonal now, instead facing down on the black rook in the corner.
So AB5, rook A1, queen A1, and then what? F5, I guess that's what we wanted to do.
This is a bit awkward for Hikaru. Rook A7, maybe? It's not a move I want to make, but it's a move maybe I need to make.
Definitely don't want to play rook A7 either.
So with the pressure against the B7 pawn, Hikaru's bishop gets stuck. This is why maybe he should have played this bishop E6 move earlier. And now if he goes bishop E6, he loses a very important pawn. So he does go rook A7.
Yeah. It's kind of
I can't really criticize. I see it gets a question mark, but I can't really criticize the move that I specifically recommended.
Yeah, it's annoying, obviously, because the rook is misplaced. And if BA, then we see rook takes A6, and that'd be great. Now our rook's very active, so we know that's not going to happen. So the rook's just misplaced. That's just what it is. But we now can develop our bishop off of C8, which could go to E6 next.
Yeah, it seems okay for black to me. Hikaru took 49 seconds for that decision. In a blitz game, that's too much, but Mishra is repaying the favor, spending a lot of time himself in return.
Oh, very nice. D4,
49 seconds from Hikaru, 46 seconds from Mishra.
Let's go. We are up time still, which matters here. Get that 2-second increment. Carl's very fast the whole time in all time controls here. So you have a 30-second time edge here, but starting to diminish a little bit if he doesn't make a move quickly, and he does. Queen E7. Get the queen off.
Queen E7 makes sense. Wanting to trade off the bishops without giving himself a doubled pawn. So he wants to have the queen ready to recapture. Yeah, that prevents our plan, doesn't it? Okay, so Hikaru's just going for all the trades. Ooh, he traded so that the white rook moved away from the white king, and then he returned to the plan you were talking about, James, like 10, 15 moves ago.
There it is. Takes. Bishop takes F5, and now we have something. At least, we got some type of threats here. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. What happens on takes? Is he just going to take and play? Oh, there's bishop. No, there's not bishop H3. So, yeah,
so
what's the
takes
idea?
Here, pawn pushes forward. The queen can move up then. This is a pawn sacrifice from Hikaru, but Mishra did not feel comfortable with the few amount of pieces that was close to his king. So he didn't accept the pawn sacrifice, but that means now Hikaru's opening up everything. Gonna go for the trade, and then with the queen up.
Cooking. Absolutely cooking here. Rook F2, Queen H4.
Winning instantly.
That's it. Yeah, it's instant. Queen H4
so
check.
Check. Pawn
3.
Up.
Queen H3. Maybe Queen F6.
Queen H3, knight here. Oh, it's checkmate. You cannot take this pawn with the knight because then queen up here is checkmate. So you have to take with the bishop instead. And then Hikaru goes for the trade. And now the attack against both the king and the knight. Hikaru just picks up a free knight, and that's going to win him the game.
That is going to win him the game. Hikaru going for 2 out of 2 here, has to finish here, as just because he's up a piece does not mean he has to resign, as Mishra is just playing on. But it is a hopeless position.
Bad on time, bad on the board. Hikaru's up a pawn, up a knight, and he's got the pawn closer to becoming a new queen. Absolutely nothing in Mishra's favor right here.
There we go. There it is. And Hikaru with another one.
Very, very nice for Hikaru. We're going to just jump straight into the game. Still going on. Wesley So is up by a knight and a bishop. Are we going to get to see the legendary knight and bishop checkmate? Ooh, yeah, no. I thought Wesley maybe had blundered one of his pieces.
Same. I was like, wait, how did you stop this pawn? Yeah. Okay,
he got away with the bishop, and now his king is going to round up the black pawn. He wins that game. Still going on. Fabi Caruana with the black pieces in trouble here if the engine is to be believed. Both players under 10 seconds on the clock. No moves coming in. Did Victor Gosick lose on time?
Yeah, something happened here because there's no, it usually doesn't take that long. Okay, cool. So it was a transmission error maybe or something. And now the moose cut flying in, and Fabi looks like he went on to win this.
Yeah, big mistake there. Fabi managed to get his rook pointing at the queen and the king. The knight had to sacrifice itself to prevent the white queen from being captured. So now Fabi has the extra knight in this position. But both players still down to just seconds on the clock. Mistakes can easily happen still. We've seen bigger miracles during the course of this tournament.
And takes that rook is strange on G6, but yeah, not anymore. Okay, yeah, we're good to go. Should be able to get that out of there.
Okay, for some reason, the engine is liking the queen trade. That's not a very human decision, but it was better to trade the queens while your pawn was still on the board instead of blundering that pawn like Gosick did. Ooh, last-ditch attempt here with the pawns on the queen side.
He does have some chances. Okay, check. Yeah, knight f5's coming, incoming. Oh, wait, we have to move the rook first. Okay, king f6. Oh, that's good. Rook G8, maybe he takes the pawn
Somehow
instead.
white is still alive here, but Fabi's going to capture a lot of pawns over on this side.
Yeah, that's going to do it there.
Yeah.
That's going to do it.
That's it.
Yeah.
The rook just zigzagging against those white pawns. And the win is confirmed. Levon Aronian, how do they have many minutes still left on the clock?
I'm not gonna lie, that is actually quite strange. I thought they started at the same time. They should maybe they were just both moving very fast. I don't know. They have so much more time than everyone else.
There must have been a delay in the start of this game. Levon Aronian with a nice space advantage, being very aggressive with his pawns, both on the king side and in the center. However, black also has some intentions here, pointing their rook against the white king.
Yeah, this doesn't look fun at all for white, especially with the rook on the second rank now. He trades. We do have some space, and we are restricting black. So, yeah, okay, you have a rook on a2, but how do you actually make progress with the knight on d7? Literally having no squares, not even a route. Like, where could I even go or place the knight without even being captured? So,
well, I want to go to this e5 square.
So you're gonna maybe g5 them?
I don't know. At some point, maybe this pawn moves.
Oh, definitely. If that pawn moves, it might be good for black ASAP. As the dark square bishops get activated too as well. Everything kind of gets activated off that e5 square. So we cannot touch that pawn. Maybe it's weirdly enough, king f3. It's kind of crazy, but rook e2, there we go, blocking the whole file there. So see what happens.
Levon quite significantly down on time, but that time edge being evaporated with Antipov's think right now. Antipov is spending 30 seconds when he only had 90 left.
He's looking for a plan. Like, how do I get this knight active? Like, just knight on d7. And then you got the superfluous knights with the other knight on f6. Like, what? These knights are not doing any work, is what he's saying. I needed some extra piece power.
Must be a relay error. He cannot have been thinking for 60 seconds at this crucial point of a blitz game, surely. And we have an interview with him on stream.
The Levon?
No, with Antipov.
Oh, really? And let me check the. Oh wow, this is our. So we're watching the past here, guys. What happened in the game?
Let me check the Discord. Is this interview from the previous round?
Wow.
I'm confused. Levon lost?
Levon lost, chat says.
Okay, but he was somewhat better during the course of it. But if Levon lost, I guess that lost some of the interest in it from us.
Yeah, definitely. He apparently usually they interview the winners there. Generally speaking, he looks like he's in good spirits too.
Levon had a horrible connection, so the moves are just coming in right now. Says MJ. Yeah. The connection to his brain was really the issue there. Wow, look at this. Antipov sacrificing his knight for 2 pawns in the center of the board, really opening up for the queen against the white king.
Yeah, he was just ready for like something had to happen. After takes, I mean, you might want to just get the king off of that whole diagonal. So like king f1, maybe king g3 or h2, but getting out of there quickly. Very important.
Something is funky with this relay because obviously Antipov would not spend 30 seconds after having just sacrificed his knight, right?
Yeah,
maybe
and that's
he
also
did actually.
Yeah, it even came back to 21 seconds there, so the relay was just off for this game.
No, it wasn't that much off. It was basically following. I guess maybe he considered the queen trade then.
Yeah, I got to take with that knight. Queen f3 and now bishop d4. Yeah, just bring the pieces into the game. Maybe you'll see an f5 too. Bring everything to the party.
But now maybe to prevent that pawn push, white can push forward
themselves. Yeah.
themselves. Yeah. How are they so calm? They're taking so much time as if they're. Oh, actually, there's a trick here. If knight takes pawn, then rook takes bishop. And then you can give a check here, and you're attacking the queen and the king. And
oh my goodness! And king g3 was knight f1, then queen f3, then knight d2. Gross. Oof.
There was some mad trickery there. And now there's also some concern about the knight getting into this f4 square.
Yeah, h4 has to be played, I thought. h4, you got to open up that king over there. And before black gets to your king.
Trying to undermine the pawn's protection of the f4 square. We're concerned about this control, so therefore we're doing what we can to trade off.
Okay, take. And what is next? How do you untangle is the question. Can I go knight d3? And he plays knight d6.
He fell for it.
Yeah, he fell for the trick.
This is the trick we looked at earlier.
Brilliant move.
Double exclam.
Boom.
And then the check comes in, attack on the queen, and then the rook. Wow. Ugh. And it all just fell apart.
He took everything. Everything must go sell here. He took everything, and now we win the game. Very nice tactic.
So Levon Aronian goes down there with what we think is a connection to the board that was struggling. We do actually think that these guys finish their game around the same time as everyone else because they've already made the pairings for the next game here.
Round three.
So we're going to move on from this round. We're just going to do a couple of the highlights. Nakamura beats Mishra. So beats Durabeli. Karana beats Gasik. And then Levon Aronian is about to lose here on the relay against the former world junior champion, Mikhail Antipov. And then Sam Sevian against Kevlishvili was a draw. Ray Robson still on 2 points out of 2. And Gregory Oparin drew against Akobian. And as a result of all of this, the next round 3, which we don't really know when they're going to start, has Hikaru facing up against Ilya Nishnik.
Very strong. Ilya, I actually just, always check. I always update my database every week. So I was looking in my Twig database this week in chess, updating my database, and saw Ilya played a very nice Jobava London against a strong, I think he was IM 2490 or something, and he won. So I was hyped about that. I'd like to check to see my Jobava London games every week to see where and who and why. And Ilya, very strong, obviously. Webster, too, as well. But facing Hikaru. Then you got an All-American matchup on board 2 there with Ray and Wesley.
Board 3 sees Karana facing against Aryan Chopra and Antipov. He after getting that win against Levon Aronian, he's up against Sam Sevian next. We're going to take a quick break, but just a couple of minutes to recompose ourselves because we do believe that these next games will start pretty soon. And we're off with the third round of this American Cup Blitz edition. That is, all the other guys have started, but where are my Hikaru moves? Am I pressing the wrong things?
Yeah, no, same on my end. There's nothing on Hikaru's board yet.
So it seems like Hikaru and Nishnik started a little bit later than the other guys. But here we are, and the game is underway. Wait, are they playing the same opening as Ray Robson versus Wesley So on board 2?
They actually are, in fact. Let's see if they follow the same line there. No, that one's a little bit different already with F4.
Hikaru goes for the bishop opening, which he also tried against Karissa Yip in the first round. That was not a huge success. Karissa was very bold in her counterattacking and started putting pressure on Hikaru. And he's not deterred, though, and trying that same strat for this game.
Yeah, maybe he went and checked the file briefly, you know. And he also has, I'm sure, Chris Littlejohn out there. So to Chris as his second to, maybe, hey, this was that, whatever. Speaking of the games, to not have anything of like what happened last time. I do like this early B3, though. Maybe we see a council of the queen side in this game here, but he definitely could go king as well. Really up to him.
We're struggling a little bit right now because, as I'm sure everyone has noticed, the photo we're getting from St. Louis is almost a minute ahead of the moves on the analysis board, which is rather annoying when doing commentary. So we're gonna this is a good solution. We're gonna rewind the video a little so that it corresponds with the situation we have on the board. Sweet. I think that's going to be the best experience for you and us.
That would help. Over to G3, stopping some king side development. It's going to be more difficult to develop your king side, so you might have to make exactly a move like G6, which could allow some weaknesses. If I go H4, maybe you go H5.
As we can see, already has happened on the camera.
Oh, wow. H4 and H5 on the board. Now, I don't know what to do. Maybe Bishop E3 and like castles, Bishop G5, castle queen side. I'm trying to get F4, F5 in.
Nishnik has the long-term advantage of the two bishops, but Hikaru has very good control of the center of the board. Look at how his knights, bishop, and also rook is involved. Having the doubled pawns isn't that big of a deal for Hikaru because that has helped him get his rook in a more active position with the white pawn having moved to the side.
And now I have to be slightly more careful. F4 I wanted to play, but now that's going to unleash the dark square bishop on G7, which is an absolute monster. So I could try F4, but he went with F3. So maybe we back the queen up to F2 or even E1 and look to play G4, actually.
That seems like a good way of attacking. In general, very exciting. With the two kings on opposite sides of the board, Nishnik tries to start an attack with his pawn on this queen side, and Hikaru actually matches Black's move to just blockade everything.
Shutting it all down. Queen E8, what a move.
So Nishnik now with the queen protecting the G6 pawn. I guess he's trying to go pawn to F5 here. But that is going to open up a lot in front of his own king. Both players keeping a really, really good pace here. This is very different to what we've seen so far today.
F5 played, by the way, Bishop G5 given a question mark, but we understand why he plays Bishop G5, getting it outside of the F4 exactly, where that's going to lock our bishop kind of behind that wall of pawns and also the fork here.
Needed to avoid that fork.
Knight C5, Queen E1, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want knight to D5, but I guess there is some counter pressure with the pawn in the center of the board. So Hikaru first reinforces that pawn that got the pressure against it.
Yeah, Black's kind of fine here, actually. It's kind of hard to break through. Takes.
They're both kind of fine.
Yeah,
a well-played game by both parties so far, but an unbalanced game with the kings being on opposite sides of the board.
Yeah, we might have to abandon the king side attack here for later. So takes, and just knight takes, maybe rook takes.
Yeah, I think really definitely we want to take with a rook because if pawn takes, that opens up the G4 square for Black's bishop.
Not fun. So he takes with the rook, bishop F5, and we just kind of back up here. May see a pawn sacrifice with E4. Plays B6. Nice waiting move in a way. Solid.
Reroute to the center for Hikaru. That would be my choice.
Yeah, I like it. Knight c3.
Hikaru's actually quite significantly down on time now.
Very rare. Very rare. It's hard to, and it is not that easy to make plans though. Okay, now I can play g4. So I have something. I can play something here. G4, maybe rook d3.
Well, if G4, there's a pawn that needs defending.
Yeah, I was gonna say rook d3, but that blunders immediately to bishop f5. So you need to be it's not even that bad. That's crazy. Still bad, but no, we want queen d2.
Hikaru's going for the trade between the bishops. In general, it's nice to trade bishops when your opponent has 2 bishops and you only have 1. But I don't think he's going to get that trade. King to h7 seems like a very obvious move to stop this plan.
I have to end up going maybe a rook e3. It's just a very vulnerable rook, but I wanted to use it to play g4, but I can't because f3 is hanging. So we have some stuff to handle here. I'll do like your move, knight to c3, just getting the knight back in the game. Let's do something with it. It's over here on the edge, not doing a lot of work anymore. It was before, but now it's getting back in the game.
Very strange moment for Nisnik to be spending all of this time. I cheated a bit. I looked at the camera, and the reason he spent so much time is that he has decided to make a pawn sacrifice through the center of the board.
Yeah, that was an idea I checked, but it's for a long-term type of thing because I can't do anything on the dark squares yet. I have to like go bishop h8, and then queen g7 to be able to use that diagonal, which is not a long shot, but it is not easy to get it going right now.
But the bishop that was previously pointing against its own pawn does now have a much freer outlook towards the white king. Hikaru even chooses not to make the capture. Oh, he couldn't, because then his rook would be trapped.
Yikes.
But maybe he'll be able to make this capture later on, because now if pawn takes pawn, the black queen gets trapped.
Tricks everywhere. You can't take, I can't take. But now white can take, in fact, with me being able to move my rook now.
Yeah, but Nisnik has reinforced his pawn, given it extra protection. So Hikaru also increases the attacks.
And if pawn takes, we can still go rook e7.
Well, that is fascinating. And then after takes, the queen is not trapped. But even a position like this sees Hikaru's pieces being much more active than their black counterparts.
Very high level here. I want to get this dark square. The dark square is from black here, bishop h8, queen g7. At some point, try to provoke a c3. Time is around the same here, but Hikaru is up like 30 seconds. It's enough time to get a lot of stuff done here. Under a minute for Ilya.
Yeah, Ilya thought he was being clever with this pawn advance through the center. And frankly, I thought it looked pretty smart as well. But right now, it does seem like Hikaru is just about to capture this pawn, unless Ilya allows the white rooks to enter into black's half, but that's not going to be optimal either.
Here we go. He's got to move or not. You don't have to move, in fact. But if you don't, you will flag. Under 30 seconds here, that is not going to do it. He is going to lose this pawn, which could lose really the game here due to his time, really just making mistakes in time pressure.
Yeah, and I can see on the relay that he actually did end up playing rook to e6, but that's just an immediate blunder of the rook, because if rook here, now pawn takes pawn, then the bishop gets this g4 square to sit at. But after rook e6, because the bishop has no escape moving backwards, then pawn to g4, sacrificing a pawn to lure the black pawn to stand in the way of the bishop. Suddenly, after we now capture in the center, the bishop can't escape back because you put your rook on an unfortunate square, and the bishop can't move forward either because we lured a black pawn where you wanted to move your bishop. And that is what happened in the game. We can see on the video feed that the players shook hands and thanked each other for the game. Rook to e6 was a losing blunder here from Nishnik, and Hikaru punished it expertly to trap the bishop. We can see here the double question mark on that move.
And we hear Fabi got crushed here, apparently, is what someone said in chat too, with a Philidor.
Wow. Okay, let's move to take a look at some of the other results. Hikaru's on 3 points out of 3 possible. He has the lead in the tournament, and not together with him is Ray Robson and Wesley So. They have made a draw in their game. Not a super peaceful draw. Look at this. The white king was lured out into the open. A sacrifice of the knight, checks against the king, and the queen kept on insisting, going for the queen trade. And it ended up just being a back and forth draw. We also have Fabi, like you said, James, he got crushed.
Opening that generally you don't see that happening. I mean, you can, especially if it goes bad, which in this game it did. A Philidor defense, in fact.
So far, so good for Fabi, according to the engine. But here, knight takes in the center was the only good move. That's not the one he played. It seemed like this wasn't a good position for Fabiano, though, because both his bishop and knight was under attack. And at the end of all of this, Fabi was just down a bishop in trade for 2 pawns. And he was unable to recover.
It was even hard to see the follow-up after knight takes e4. So, I mean, I don't blame him. After knight takes queen d4, knight g5, like, what is going on there? King h6, knight f7, king h7. Like, what? Bro, that's crazy. Yeah, knight takes e4, and then the queen takes d4, knight g5, apparently. King, oh, it's knight f6 wins. Okay, knight f6, you pick up the rook. Oh, wow.
But then you also lose the knight.
This is crazy. Apparently,
oh no, you take the bishop.
Oh, and queen f5. Oh,
that's very nice.
I mean, of course. How are you spotting this in Blitz?
Right? Yeah, that wasn't super easy to see.
Yeah. It makes sense.
But that means Chopra is one of the players with 3 points out of 3. Also on 3 out of 3, I believe, is Antipov, who took down Levon Aronian in the previous game. Now he takes down Sam Sevian.
Sam Sevian. Antipov is hot right now. What was he open?
And the 2 players together with Hikaru on 3 points out of 3, Antipov and Chopra, they are playing against one another, while Hikaru has been told to go play with those weaker than yourself, at least in number of points. Hikaru has to move down and play someone with 2.5 points instead of playing someone with 3 points. So that's going to be our 4th round. Just to surmise, Hikaru is in the lead right now, together with Aryan Chopra and Mikhail Antipov. All of them have 3 points out of 3 possible. Hikaru is going to be up against Wesley So soon. So we're going to take a quick break and then join this exciting matchup. Hikaru is already the winner of the American Cup, but today there's an entirely new tournament. It's the American Cup Blitz. I'm Jon Ludwig Hammer, and I'm joined by James Canty III, and we're going to be watching the 4th round now, featuring a huge matchup.
Here we go, as we have Hikaru versus Wesley So. Hikaru with the black pieces, which is a tough feat here against Wesley So. Really any color, just because Wesley so solid, as we like to say. He's a very strong player, very solid too as well. So if we're looking to get something out of here, especially in this fast time control here, I think Hikaru is going to look to shake it up and play something a little bit unorthodox here, given the time that we have.
Nuclear Power asks, if they play each other now, does that mean they cannot play each other again? Good question, and the answer is yes. You can only face the same opponent once. So once you've played them, you don't have to play them again for the rest of the tournament.
Very nice. As Hikaru's looking to extend his lead, 3 out of 3. So yeah, of course, draw would be fine result, but he really wants to win here, especially against Wesley So. And then on the other boards, we got Antipov, who's been on a tear, and Arunian Chopra as well. Actually, it was made it to be able to play on board 1 right over Hikaru. Got Robson and O'Parin. After that, Ilya and Darius Swartz. You got Fabian Yasser and Levon versus Nicolas.
Oh my God! You said Yasser about Quesada Perez. That is not okay. Even though this guy's name is technically Yasser,
you don't call him by his name.
In chess, I mean, when we talk about chess, there's only one Yasser.
Dang, that sucks, man. It's like,
I must admit, I've never actually noticed.
Dang.
I never noticed this guy actually was called Yasser.
Yeah, Yasser Quesada Perez. That's his brother is what's his brother's name? I forgot his brother's name. But
there's 2 of them.
Yeah, there's another one. There's another Quesada Perez. Yuniski. I think his name is Yuniski.
Yeah, so maybe that's why I never knew there was a Yasser, because I only knew the other brother.
Yeah, his brother. Strong. It's crazy. Both brothers GMs. Like, that's rare. You got the other brothers like that too. Rasmus and the other
brother. We have on the cameras Hikaru and Wesley are sitting there ready to go. And frankly, they are not the only one. Everyone raring to get going. The schedule for this tournament has been blown out of the water. They were planning to play 2 games per hour, but they've now adopted a 3 games per hour schedule instead.
Cool. Shoot, a little bit better there. Gives them some time, you know. At least it's not too you don't have too much time in between, like, 20, 30 minutes per game type things. Just outrageous. Okay, we got live games, so we have.
And once again, the Italian. No, Wesley goes for the Spanish.
The Spanish and a Cozio variation. I'm a fan of this one. Sometimes some lines I don't like too much, but this one actually does have some fighting chances to it. So I like the choice he chose here with the Cozio.
I remember one of my old coaches. He was like, "Oh yeah, we played this in the 70s. You should try it out." And here we are in the 2020s. And Hikaru's bringing the old guns back. The reason they've gone back to playing this is because now they discovered that c6 followed by queen to b6 was a pretty decent line for black. However, we have also seen Hikaru employ this opening in the past, and he actually got into some trouble back then. So let's see if Wesley So is up to date on his, what did you call it? Cuzio.
Cuzio or Cozio, but Cuzio is correct too as well. I like it here. And yeah, this queen trade, he's insisting. Yo, trade the queens. No. Yo, trade the queens. No. Once again.
Ooh. Oh, he didn't go again.
Yeah, he didn't go again.
He could have gone back. Really insisted on the queen trades. But here Hikaru thinks, okay, I better get my bishop out and my king to safety.
Very fast here. A3. Okay, trade the queens.
Well, he's asking for it.
Trade the queens. Are you gonna play it? Are you gonna capture it? Yes. Okay.
Hikaru got his way in the end, but now there's the problem of the bishop standing in the way of the pawn. The pawn needs to move up so that the other bishop can get into the game. So we have some shuffling to do here with these 2 pieces.
Yeah, he hasn't moved the bishop. Knight f4. Okay, trying to get rid of one of the bishops of the bishop pair. Maybe we go bishop f3 to not allow either.
Yeah, definitely going to move this bishop. I'm not sure which one of these. Oh, wait, we're not moving the bishop?
Wow. I guess he's saying you have problems on the d file. Trying to get this d pawn out is going to be a task for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. So if the bishop now moves into the center, Wesley can attack this d6 square with his bishop. If the bishop moves back, then there's another way for the bishop to try and control this square. Hikaru goes back. Now bishop to f4. Whatever Wesley does, he needs to try and prevent the black pawn from moving forward so that the bishop can get out afterwards. This is rather unpleasant for Hikaru. Hikaru should probably consider sacrificing a pawn here.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of annoying because yeah, I'm not getting out. That was actually very clever from Wesley here. And I can't give up a pawn, but I have a bishop pair, which lots of times can be equivalent to losing that pawn. At least I have some compensation, to say the least, is what they say.
I thought it was going to be okay to sacrifice the pawn there, but computer was not a fan. Instead, Hikaru is trying to point his rook at this e4 pawn, but the knight immediately comes to offer some protection.
No, maybe, yeah, I guess default. Yeah, we gotta get our pieces out. So maybe b6, and then but then it's just rook e1. I was trying for like a cheap bishop a6 to get the tempo, and then rook a d8. But okay, b6, rook e1, and be good.
Okay, bishop to f6, threatening a pawn.
c3, probably. Maybe b3. Yeah, b3.
Yeah, it's a big question about whether you put the pawns on the light squares or the dark squares. The light squares is a bit more it suits the chess principles better, because oftentimes you want if you have a bishop that moves on the dark squares, you want to have your pawns controlling the light squares. And he did go for the pawn sack.
He goes for it, pawn sack, and say, you know what, get these pieces out. It is what it is. I have pressure on your pawns. Maybe on the queen side, I can go follow up with a rook a to c8, hit that pawn, figure out what you're going to do with it. I do have my two bishops, which can compensate for me being in the pawn deficit.
Now it's Wesley's game to win here with that extra pawn. It feels like there's good compensation for Hikaru to salvage a draw, but Hikaru winning down a pawn feels unlikely.
Yeah, especially against Wesley, who's extremely strong. But hey, you know what? Classical, all right, cool, man. Maybe draw. But Blitz, it is much faster. Crazy things happen as time gets lower, as we've seen in all formats. So it's important to see what happens here. They're actually all calling for a flip the board hammer. Everyone's saying, hammer, flip the board.
Yeah.
Hammer, flip the board.
I need to be told, because I always look at chess from the white side, and to me it looks the same whether I want to follow the black player or the white player. But I have learned, I have been told that to other people this makes a difference. So I'm trying, but I forgot on this occasion.
He's trying, chat. He loves you, chat. Okay, he's trying. He's trying for you guys. You know, this is for you, chat.
You guys should just learn to see the board as, you know, a neutral observer.
See, there you go, chat. You know what I mean?
Instead of having to see it from Hikaru's perspective.
Right. It hurts him more than it hurts you. Okay?
Open your mind to new perspectives.
That's right. There we go. All right. So yeah, probably draw. I mean,
Hikaru's still down a pawn, but we're in one of those endgames where the bishops move on opposite colors.
Oh, that's not a good move. And we have rook d3 incoming, I guess. h5, king g6, rook d3, and hope for the best. Yeah, we're going to really hope for the best here.
It's going to be a long defensive grind here for Hikaru, down a pawn. But it feels like he should be able to survive. Ooh, I was a bit tempted there to push this pawn up. Hikaru doesn't like it.
Yeah, because it is weak. It might be able to get hit with a weird bishop e1 at some point, but yeah, it's just weird.
Okay, Hikaru decides to just sit here.
And shuffle.
He's just going to stay put with his rook and say, you cannot make progress.
Yeah, playing Wesley in any time format, it's just not the greatest pairing, you know. Yeah, it's like Wesley So, very strong, getting and white pieces here. Tough task, but not losing. And time is very, very low for both of them. So could see likely to be a draw, I think. Gotta fight.
I agree. And you can tell from Wesley's time usage here that he's struggling to find a way forward he's happy with. Rook back. Oh no, the rook couldn't go back. This is a good plan from Wesley, though. So now he's keeping control of all these important squares that the rook is pointing to, and now he can start pushing his pawn up.
Oh, he can. Does that create anything? Yeah, it would. Whoa. Okay, we actually got to watch out here. B4, B5 is serious because here it comes. Okay. Yeah.
Hikaru immediately starts targeting this pawn on c4, which lost its protector. Now
Nice
Hikaru is
setup.
going to sit here again.
He's going to sit back and forth. You might say king d3, king e3 instead.
Yeah, Hikaru
Shuffle.
needs to give a check anytime this king moves to defend the bishop. Okay, Wesley is trying to create a passed pawn on the far side.
Yeah, that's scary. I mean, it may not seem like it, but okay, maybe you can't get through.
Oh, but now he just allowed rook takes c4.
Yeah.
The easy rook trade, and this is going to be a draw. Well defended by Hikaru. And notice how he played so quickly that Wesley got down to 10 seconds on the clock. And so Wesley just panicked and allowed a trade that results in an easy draw.
Very strong defense wins championships, as they say. But no, good defense here from Hikaru. Got down the pawn, got it back, down the pawn steal. I lost another one, but at the same time, opposite color bishops here. White's not able to make any real progress.
And I have some news from the other games. Aryan Chopra has beaten Mikhail Antipov, which means he is the leader of the tournament with 4 out of 4. But Hikaru, after this draw, is going to be in second place, just half a point behind. And I believe Hikaru will face off with the white pieces against Chopra in the next round.
Love the opening choices from Aryan Chopra. Actually, he was losing at one point. Wait, what move is that? He was like getting cooked at one.
We finally got the draw confirmed in Hikaru's game. Let's check in on how Chopra managed to get the sole lead in this tournament. Let's start from the beginning.
Move 27.
A Sicilian, aggressive black pawns in the center. It started as a Sicilian, but now suddenly it's an Italian. The Italian pops up everywhere.
That's crazy. Very rare.
Had their rook on the same file as the white queen. Seems like sensible play from both players so far. Ooh, black is the one who's super aggressive with the pawns through the center of the board. Ooh, here comes the bishop as well. Okay, how did white win this then?
And like actually, he's completely losing after this too. Like he was losing a few moves in a row here, but I guess the time tells a lot because they had like no time here in this situation.
Wow, rook takes was winning. Takes.
Hard to see that though.
Oh no!
The time.
Oh no! Okay, I think I got it back in the right size.
Yeah.
Takes. Yeah, and then just play on as if nothing happened. If you're gonna give up both your rooks for a queen, you're expecting something more direct than just improving the placement of the queen afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently this was very difficult to stop the working together.
He was getting mated. Okay.
Anyway, knight forward. Oh, he did go for the sack. Engine is saying this is completely winning for blacks. Okay, repetition draw was possible, but black goes for the win.
How he lost this game is insane to me. How Antipov like lost this. It was like white's getting mated. It has to be. And he's
even getting a new queen. There's the bishop to protect.
That's crazy. 93 super blunder.
Like, even if he was concerned about stuff down here, could he not?
G5, right? Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow. Incredible. Oh my goodness. F4. Rook H7 with Rook G8 mate. Woo, heat. That hurts. That one is a flip the board.
Check on the king, and then the rooks come in to decide it. Wow. The guy had an extra queen and a pawn who was one step away from becoming a new queen.
That's tough, man. Chess is like that sometimes. You can't, like you say, you got to kill these guys in every phase of the game. That's tough.
Devastating result there for Antipov. But that also made us not super afraid of Aryan Chopra, who is Hikaru's opponent for this next game.
Here we go.
He's on an incredible 4 points out of 4, but the way he got there was questionable. We now know.
Let's go, Aryan Chopra.
Oh, there's an Hikaru interview. We'll go on break, and then we'll see what Hikaru has to say.
I'm here with American Cup champion and top seed of the event, Hikaru Nakamura. Hikaru, first of all, 3.5 out of 4. How would you rate your start to this tournament?
Yeah, it's been pretty smooth. I guess the first game against Karissa has been the worst game. It was a game where I was probably losing out of the opening. Kind of underestimated her, but I think Wesley also did the same thing in his game against Alice Lee. So the first game was shaky, but otherwise it's been pretty smooth. This last game against Wesley, I was slightly worse, but opposite color bishops, and I think I defended pretty well. So it's a good start.
First time participating at the American Cup Blitz. How are you feeling about this tournament overall? Are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is that it's really a reminder of old times, and by that, what I mean is that playing in like a little room. I mean, a basement. I mean, it's a nice hotel, but playing in a basement with a lot of like these just regular plastic chessboards and pieces and everything. I guess they're weighted, so they're not completely plastic, but it's a reminder of the old days playing in a lot of the open tournaments in the U.S. And from that standpoint, I actually quite like it. It just feels good. The games, you play one game after another, no long breaks, and it's a good experience.
How is the adjustment playing, the top seeds, the 27 plus hundreds, and now playing 2500s, 2600s? What is that adjustment like, especially over the board? Because we know you play online quite often.
I mean, I think the main thing is I'm trying to actually play some more normal openings versus more of the silly or B tier type things that I usually play online. So that does, I think, play quite a big role in terms of why I've gotten off to the good start and why I seem to be ahead on the clock in most of the games. That being said, it's also quite nice because there's a lot less pressure. So I think a good example is the game I played against Mishra in the second round. If that were in the American Cup and the stakes were a lot higher, I probably would have been a lot more nervous, but I was very calm when I played that game. So I think I'm just enjoying the sort of stress-free atmosphere of this event.
How were the celebrations last night after winning the championship, the American Cup?
I'm too old for celebrating, so I mean, no real celebrations. Just try to relax and not look at chess because usually I've had a routine over the last week and a half. So just didn't look at chess, tried to relax, and I seem to be doing well.
We'll let you go, get your rest, and good luck in the remainder of the games.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
For the observant viewer, we did find a standings. It has, it is the result of some emailing back and forth and stuff. But the standings tell us that Hikaru Nakamura currently in second place behind Aryan Chopra, and they are playing against one another now. The winner here will have the lead 5 rounds into this tournament. I'm Jon Ludwig Hammer, and I'm joined by James Canty III in what is a crucial game here.
Let's go, chat. We need some energy in chat, of course, as we want Hikaru to pull through on this one. Aryan Chopra going back to his Philidor that he used to actually beat Fabi convincingly. Now, of course, this is a different type of Philidor now. Fabiano went a different route, but this is the general stuff that you see from White's standpoint with A4, A5. You get some space on both sides of the board a little bit. H3 stopping anything going into G4. And so far, so good in theory-wise. Nothing to say about the position yet, but we have more spaces, White.
Ooh,
Whoa,
interesting
whoa,
trade
whoa.
happening there. Hikaru's given away his bishop, moving on the light squares, but in doing so, he managed to eliminate the black pawn that was controlling the d5 square. Now there are no black pawns that can keep this square under control, and Hikaru's moving his knight to trade off the black knight so that the black knight no longer takes care of this, and so that Hikaru can move his knight up there in the future.
There could be a slower idea too of knight f1 to e3 to have range on both sides of d5 or f5. Very
Yeah,
nice.
actually, yeah, I think that's Hikaru's plan. I take back what I said about knight g4.
Knight g4 is good though, but it is. I mean, it depends on how he feels. Let's see what he plays. Knight f1 or knight g4. He's definitely moving at knight. I think. Maybe he's looking at f4.
I like this plan better. It also gives you a little bit more flexibility that you can kind of choose whether you want to go to the left or the right.
And here we go. Knight e3 probably being played next. Bishop e3. Whoa. Oh,
Why
bishop
are you
e6.
putting your bishop here?
I guess he wants the bishop on b6 first, maybe. But bishop d8 does get rid of that. But I guess you're saying now that the d6 pawn gets a little bit weaker. Bishop d6, bishop d8, maybe you capture rook a8. Oh, yeah, even knight d7. Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan at all.
that bishop is not going to manage to stay there.
He goes
Ooh,
for
he
it.
does go
And
for it anyway.
But your knight d7 was so good. Like, I don't, maybe he didn't like knight d5 or something. Knight d7 was really annoying.
The bishops are traded off. We're going to try anew to get our knight to the d5 square. That's going to be the success condition for Hikaru.
Like rook a2, and then we play rook d1, knight e3, put something on d5 and play the game.
Yeah, just point everything at this d5 square. Ooh, but black is making a counterattack.
That was good. I'm not gonna lie, that was good. When I saw rook b7, I instantly said, "Oh no, b2," and now we are defending it. Like it seems like we didn't get what we wanted here yet.
Hikaru's unable to jump into the d5 square just yet. Black has that square completely under control. Hikaru's going to have to advance his kingside pawns to try and knock the black knight back so that he can move one of his knights to the d5 square. Both players are kind of stuck here. They don't have an easy plan.
I think that is going to happen. g4, h4 it's risky. But, you know, all of Black's pieces are sort of on the queen side right now. So g4, h4, g5, and then swing this b rook. It is sacrificing b2, but at the right moment, could give us some type of devastating attack.
Queen moves back to be ready to try and help out the defense as White's pawns progress. Okay, Hikaru's rerouting his queen.
Black looking to shuffle here. As you saw, the queen went back and forth. He was like, I don't have anything to do. So let's shuffle. Rook d7. Yeah, sort of a shuffle move, not intending d5, really.
Yeah, I don't think this is a favorable move for Black. So, well, I mean, I'm gonna move my queen out of this file just to be safe. But queen e1 and long term push the pawns.
Love it. Love it. Queen e1, g4, h4. g5 ideas. No pressure on b2 anymore because the rook's on d7. So maybe we can even use our b1 rook to help us in this. It's going to take some time, and it's probably going to happen. There it is, queen e1. It's probably going to happen when time gets a little bit lower, when he makes this real push, g4, h4, to make him really use his time.
Well, there's an interesting move popping up on the engine suggestions. Knight a4 to b6.
Nice.
Although I guess if the knight moves out here, the black knight could just try and prevent.
97.
Yeah. Did Hikaru just go back and forth?
He did. He did. He
went to the side and then up.
Yeah. h5, h4. Okay.
H4. Why did we go h4?
Instead of g4.
Wasn't this an opportune moment to push forward?
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't like g4, like for whatever reason. And we definitely was looking at that here. Now g4 is going to be much harder to play if we even are going to play it. Rook d7 or d8 now.
I guess Hikaru is looking at something like if I can force him to have to go on the defense because of the threat against this d6 pawn, then maybe I can push my knight up in the center and then push g4
I
later
like
on.
it. I like it. Engine says, "What are you
And it
doing?" That's
says, yeah.
crazy. That's insane. Oh, there was like take queen e3 and knight g4. That's insane. Unbelievable. But it's a weird tactic there. So queen c5, a lot of shuffling here. A lot
Well,
of
now
shuffling.
are we not ready to move the knight into the d5 square?
Yeah, he's trying to get that right timing. And I mean, it's such good patience here because I probably would have been put a knight on d5. And by this
Oh,
time,
he's trying to move the rook in front of the queen. No.
draw? No, he has 26 seconds. Hikaru's going to push.
It's very
Maybe
clever
not.
maneuvering from
Oh,
Hikaru.
there it is. Yeah, he's going to push.
Just basically just trying to make his opponent run out of time.
Flagging is part of it, guys. Okay. Listen, it may not be the greatest at home, but flagging is part of the game. Make some moves, get them low on time, look for tactics.
Queen c5 necessary now to attack the a5 pawn. And when that is not played, that loses this pawn. Hikaru's problem is that there's a lot of pressure against his pawns, and it's a bit tricky to know how to deal with it.
I might have to trade, and he does. It's kind of annoying. I don't really like my piece placement, but I don't care. I'm trying to flag you at some point and hope for that time blunder.
This white pawn on b2 is really in trouble because if the pawn moves up to let the rook protect. Oh.
Knight c3 hits there it is, and then takes in double. Maybe we double. No, you have to take double rooks. Bishop e6 takes on.
No.
Oh, there we go. Okay, rook takes queen a7. Rook b7 doesn't work yet. Close though. 94 strong.
So Hikaru sacrificed a pawn, and now he's winning the game.
Rook d6 incoming.
What a decision from Hikaru, but I'm still not completely understanding why this was so good. And Hikaru doesn't follow it up the right way, but with Chopra down to just 10 seconds on the clock, I feel like this is going to go Hikaru's way regardless.
That's a good move. Queen d7 is actually pretty solid. I don't want to trade yet, but I can't move the knight without my rook hanging unless I go knight takes f5 check, which I'm not ready to play yet. Queen c5, nice move.
Good move, gets an exclam. Rook takes
Super
was the
blunder.
only defense.
Knight takes f5. Anyway, and then queen takes in queen f8. Nope, that's going to be a draw. So how do we win? Knight takes f5 is winning because queen takes is forced. He went 94. So what was the idea? If queen takes queen e7, oh, it was just queen e7.
What this guy had 4 out of 4 points? Chopra just took a rook and fell for a mate in 3. Hikaru gets rewarded there for his perseverance, moving back and forth in the middle game, getting his opponent low on time. And when the big moment arrived, his opponent said, "Oh, free rook." And Hikaru said, "Well, okay, here, buddy. You're getting checkmated."
Getting mated. Absolute checkmate. And Hikaru with the dub. That was a very hard Philidor to face, but he was able to break it down, especially in the time pressure that he had, which is important to put your opponent under time pressure. That is a key thing to do. Hikaru did it very well here and was able to be rewarded for it. So great game. Man sitting at the top, just like he did.
And we have no other games still going on. Let's check in with some of the results. Ray Robson, who had the same amount of points as Hikaru going into this round, he's managed to win his game as well.
Ooh, so it's going to be Big Ray and have a nice day, as I like to say. I like to call him. Big Ray is going to probably face off against Hikaru in this next one. Is that rook f6 playable there after bishop f6?
I that got a double question mark, but to me it looks like black was already in big trouble here, with the queen pointing down through the center. All these black pieces being exposed. Bishop to f6 was not the right way to keep everything defended because the rook sacrificed itself to eliminate the defender, and then white had a bishop and a knight in trade for a rook and managed to win fairly nicely and easily afterwards. Look at how these bishops work together against the Black King.
Wow, the snipers, these bishops, really strong here. Lasers across the board here. He's able to clean up shop. It looks like we're going to have Ray against Hikaru in the next round here, which is a big All-American matchup here. Very strong players, both of them, and played many times before. Ray, a tactician, and Hikaru just Hikaru. So we'll see what happens there. Fabiano taking on Antipov and the second on board too.
Yeah, so Antipov manages to beat Wesley So to stay in the leading, well, not the leading pack, but right behind them. Antipov, I believe, on 4 points out of 5. Karana takes down Ilya Nishnik. Levon Aronian takes down Benjamin Bach. Oparin beats Vasif Durarbaili, and Sam Sevian, trying to recover a bit, takes down the young Armenian Ahonyan. And like you were saying, Kanti, the setup, the boards for the next round, it's the two guys in the lead.
Ray and Hikaru is going to be an absolute clash here. I'm expecting E4. Ray plays a lot of E4, so we might go back down some E5 territory, whether it's Spanish or the Italian game, which has been very topical these days. We will see on that one. Probably some Sicilian on board too, I think, with Antipov and Fabi. So exciting games, and people are starting to ramp it up a little bit more, try to play a little bit stronger, maybe taking slightly more risks just as we're getting closer to the end here in these final rounds or the back half of the games to be able to project myself farther into the standings or higher up.
So Ray and Nakamura both on 4.5 points out of 5. On 4 points out of 5, it's Karana and Antipov, but also Levon Aronian is on 4 points out of 5 as well. He's facing Chopra, who just was taken down for the first time in this tournament, also on 4 points out of 5.
Very impressive from Chopra here. He's just, that Antipov game he should have lost, but he kept fighting and he won that game that was completely losing. So he's having a great tournament here, only losing to Hikaru. So if you ever say that in any type of session, you're having a great tournament. So Chopra here is trying to take down Levon, but Levon right behind the pack too as well. Anything can happen, especially in these next two games or 2 matches, 2 rounds, to see what happens and where you're going to be in the standings is the question.
Yeah, and actually that's what we had on 4 points out of 5, because Schwierz and Sevian playing on board 4, they each have 3.5 points.
Oh, so win either way is going to catapult you into like board 2. If board 3 you get a loss on board 3, like this is very crucial. All the games are, but especially as you get later into the rounds, every point counts. Every half point absolutely counts. So we'll see kind of what happens here. But we're excited to see Ray and Hikaru face off. Also, really all the boards, but definitely looking at Hikaru and Ray.
So when I'm announcing the points, please believe me, people, over the chess.com layout that we have, because chess.com doesn't have all the games relayed. So I have the more accurate information. Hashtag trust me, bro. Chad has a tendency of not trusting me, which I think is undeserved.
Hashtag trust me, bro. Nice chat. Come on, let's trust Hammer here.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick break before we're back with another fight for the first place. Hikaru took down the leader in Aryan Chopra to put himself in that number 1 spot, but he shares it with Ray Robson, and that is the game we have coming up after this break.
Guys, back to you.
He's not missing.
This is not the American Cup, because Hikaru Nakamura won that yesterday. This is the American Cup Blitz edition, and Hikaru might win this one as well. He's in the lead together with Ray Robson, and they are facing off against one another right now. And I'm going to flip the board so that we see this from Nakamura's point of view, and together with James Canty III. I will be guiding you through this game. Expectations for opening, James?
Yeah, I think we're going to see e4, but I think we're going to go down an Italian game because you have so many ways to play it with white and with black here. So it gives you those chances that you're looking for to get something, you get a game to say the least. So it also is fast as well. You want to play stuff that you're really used to playing. So I think he's going to play e4. I think we're going to go down e5 and have ourselves. Here we go. E4, E5. Right.
Spot on.
Whoa, we got a Vienna. Hold on now. That's a little bit different.
Actually, Ray goes for that same bishop's opening that Hikaru has been using himself with the white pieces. Surely this is a good sign that this is something Hikaru has studied, seeing as how he's playing it in all his white games.
Yeah, that
maybe he's going to play that G5 move that Karissa played against him.
It might be inspired, from that H6 G5 was vicious. That was a vicious plan, and it worked out. And then she had a better position. It worked out. So, but already chasing the light square bishop, which is something you do in this opening. Get rid of it. We have the bishop here. You play D6 here. Wait, there's an F5. So,
this is like a delayed King's Gambit from Ray Robson, who's really got his pawns involved here early on.
Yeah, that is something. Knight takes B3.
I mean, at some point you need to take this bishop, right? But Hikaru's hesitant to make the trade because that would open up for the rook along the edge of the board.
Yeah, I really didn't like these positions that much from black because of that F5 move. Like now I feel annoyed, like I can't really break through yet, but it's going to take some time. If I have to take on B3, play C6, and try to aim for D5, maybe even take on B3, play A6, bishop A7, and then my goal is to play B6 or B5, bishop B7, then into playing D5. That's a long time. A lot of play there. It's going to take a while.
Yeah, I think Hikaru should go for this bishop trade because now there's no longer the G4 move to expand your pawn control on the king side, seeing as how the queen was lured away from that control.
B5. I was not expecting that. That was way out of the blue for me.
That was not on the list.
B5. Yeah, that one was off the radar for sure.
I guess he's saying once you try to escape with the bishop, then I'm going to take, but I don't feel the need to capture before then. Okay, castling A6. I guess Hikaru now threatening queen A7 to go for a queen trade. Ray should probably go king H1 to avoid the queens getting traded off.
Yeah, that does allow eventually to bishop B7, get that bishop on the long diagonal and play in the center with knight takes B3 and D5, or C5, knight takes B3, then D5 at the right moment, because E5 is going to be quite loose.
I gotta admit, James, half of the time I can't follow you. I just heard a lot of squares.
A lot of squares, yes, lots of squares. Bishop B7, though, he is going for this plan. Bishop B7, D5, but you can't play D5 without E5 hanging, so we have to wait for this.
So we're going to need to castle, put a rook in the middle, and then push the pawn.
Right.
Oh, wow. Engine says bishop takes F7.
Oh, and B4.
Wow.
And B4. Wow.
What a move.
That's kind of vicious. I mean, I think
apparently
I'm okay,
this is good for Hikaru.
Oh, I like this. Queen takes, yeah.
So what you were supposed to do instead was use the queen. That is sick.
Ugh, yeah.
There's no way anyone's finding that.
Right. Not in Blitz, bro. Like not in this time format.
Ray already down to just 1 minute. That is usually Ray's problem. He spends too much time. He did maneuver his knight over to the king side, but in the meantime, Hikaru's making advances on the opposite flank.
Well, he is a calculator, so calculators to him to calculate, spend some time. So, but that's not good for this time format, as you know, you do need a healthy balance of both, as Hikaru displays that time and time again. Hikaru up hella time. I mean, he's bro. What? He like barely used any time, it feels like here. Hikaru has a ton of time. And as we've seen in the last game, the time definitely benefited Hikaru. He had the time, and Chopra choked in the time that he had. So, pretty tough. C4.
He's going with your plan. Rook here protects the pawn so that you can push through the center.
Preparing.
We're going to see pawn to d5 next.
More preparation. Yeah, d5 is going to be really strong. After maybe, I mean, do we? Yeah, we probably should include knight b3 and then d5. So knight's just over here on the edge, like, you know, right? 29. There's no time for Ray.
Chosen not to make that trade.
Yeah. Now he might go back to c6 at some point, but Ray has no time. So
Ray just very, very clearly here wanted to avoid that pawn push for Hikaru through the center. And now Ray has succeeded in locking off the position. And maybe he hopes that if he locks up in the center, then he has a free hand to attack on the queen side, the king side.
Very likely, absolutely. How does he take? Takes with the pawn. Now what?
Because bishop. Queen is going to c3, that's for sure.
And then knight b3. Maybe even knight c6, because the bishop's so bad now. Oh, I can't take it anymore.
The bishop was attacking the rook, so we didn't have time to capture this white pawn. Now queen c3.
Okay,
oh, he's attacking the knight. The knight cannot move because it needs to protect the bishop. Bishop can't take bishop, but then queen takes knight.
Oh, wow. Fancy. I love the
Hikaru blocks.
Rook b4 off the radar. I like those type of moves. I like it because it makes you think like, oh, rook b4, I'm not expecting that. And you don't have time to think.
Hikaru's position is very easy to play right now. Rook here, I'm guessing.
Beautiful. Knight d4 too as well. You really want to make
moves. Yeah, but I wasn't sure about knight d4 immediately because I don't want to allow white to push the pawns up.
Oh, that's true. I might be able to sacrifice too. Rook b3 there. A3. That's too much. It's not necessary.
Okay, rook b8 was played. Then the trade, and now the knight up.
There it is.
So we made the knight forward without allowing our rook to be chased back. Oh, I'm not crazy. Staying current on the moves. That's my bad.
Oh, good.
Lots of pressure on the queen side. Computer saying Hikaru has a big advantage here. Also on the clock, a full minute up and Ray down to just seconds.
Yeah, he's playing literally on 1 second. I mean, you only get 2 second increment here, guys. So, oh, cool. Yeah, you know, I get 2 seconds each move, but that means you have to move instantly when you have 3 seconds here, like Ray has. He has to move basically instantly. Rook c2 almost traps the queen.
Yeah,
Rook c2, queen a1, takes, and then what? No tactinos? No tactinos? Takes. There's nothing.
Oh, rook takes knight, and the knight comes in for the fork. That's very sweet. Can Hikaru find it?
And he does, and takes. And
of course he finds it.
Of course he does. It's Hikaru. Give me the dub. Takes, and takes again. Takes.
And now he's taking this, and then he's taking this. Everything is there for Hikaru's taking.
There it is. He's just thinking, though. He's calculating this in game out. Take. Yeah, producer. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got it. I got it.
This is super easy, no?
Yeah, takes, and then rook over to c4, rook c6.
There's no double attack, right? Because my rook is defending here.
Right.
Now f6 blocks everything up. We'll go pawn to h4.
Mm-hmm. h5 is a beautiful move, by the way.
Actually, h5, g5 is maybe a bit annoying.
Oh, yeah, and takes an f6. Kind of annoying. Yeah, but he didn't see it in time.
Now we're getting the king up. This is nicely controlled. Pawn up, rook over. Everything is working out just fine for Hikaru. Hikaru down to 10 seconds, but he'll convert this no issue. And now the rook check from the side, and then the king takes. Ray is going to resign. He did resign.
Hikaru with a dub.
And that means beating the two guys who were had more points or equal in the last 2 rounds. Hikaru now leading on his own with 4.5 points out of 5. We jump straight into Fabiano Caruana. No, he's at 5.5 out of 6. My bad. Antipov here is trying to defend. Down a pawn against Fabiano. The king moves up to prevent the black king from moving back down.
Oh, it's a draw. Theoretical, right?
We have pawns. And this draw suits Hikaru very well.
Yeah.
Hikaru is happy to see his opponents not keeping pace with his score.
Now we have a classic Philidor.
Well, just you can just defend on the bottom rank.
Very
the
nice.
B pawn is not the scariest of pawns to play against, and the players have agreed to a draw, a stalemate there. I see on the video. Actually, oh no, he changed his mind. He changed. Oh, that's beautiful. You could go back with the rook for an easy draw, but instead he took the pawn on B6, and it was a stalemate.
Stalemate. Oh, that's nice. That's actually funny.
That's very sweet. And that's good news for Hikaru. Hikaru alone in the lead of this tournament with 5.5 points out of 6. His closest opponent is Levon Aronian, who inflicted a second loss in a row for Aryan Chopra. And that means Hikaru, if he can take down Aronian in the next round, Hikaru will have a full point lead with 2 rounds remaining.
He'll be looking very sharp there, as he is right now, guys. Looking very sharp as I'm waiting for pairings to come out here.
I have the pairings here. Do you want to go through them?
Sure. Let's go through them. Oh, it came up now. Okay, I see it.
Take it away, James.
So here we go. Hikaru versus Levon, aka LeBron Aronian, as I like to call him a lot. But Hikaru Nakamura here is a force to be reckoned with at the top of the leaderboards. That's going to be a heavyweight matchup too, as well. I'm expecting
Levon is on 5 points, so Levon is
strong.
half a point behind Hikaru.
Okay, half a point behind Hikaru there. A second, we have a lot of American matchups on board 2 today. But Fabiano versus Ray on board 2. You got O'Perrin. Haven't heard a lot from him, but now he's on board 3 against Sam Sevian. And Antipov still in this thing against Linea Dominguez there, who suffered a defeat in round 1. Then we have Robbie versus Ilya and Aryan Chopra versus Nikola Z. I'm definitely getting that wrong. Mishra versus Luca on the last board that we have there. So lots of heavyweight matchups here, but definitely looking at board 1 with Hikaru and Levon.
Yeah, I'm starting to think these board 5, board 6, board 7, almost irrelevant. It's rough to say it, but we're all about the top 3 boards now. O'Perrin, Sevian, Caruana, and Ray Robson, all of them are on 4.5 points out of 6, 1 point behind Hikaru. The only one within 1 point of Hikaru is Levon Aronian. Levon is on half a point behind Hikaru on 5 points out of 6. But Hikaru has the white pieces. And if he now beats Levon, he will, at the minimum, have a 1 point lead. But, James, if Caruana versus Robson and O'Perrin versus Sevian, if those games are draws and Hikaru wins, Hikaru will have a 1.5 point lead with 2 rounds remaining.
That's tough because you're not just beating Hikaru, especially 2 rounds left. I mean, he's going to draw or win both of those likely. So it's difficult if you're behind Hikaru here. Who can stop the man, the myth, the legend, or half man, half everything else is the question. Who can stop him? Or will he be stopped? Or will he just win both? It is likely right now that he is on track to win this one too.
Okay, we're going to do a break now, and we'll be back with the I've said this now a bit. But so first, Hikaru beats the guy who had more points than him. Then he beat Ray, who had equal points. And now, if Hikaru manages to take down Levon Aronian, oh wow! Even St. Louis doesn't know that Levon is at 5 points. we're not the only ones being confused by the standings here. But he is the one chasing Hikaru, and we'll be back with that game when we return.
And it's Hikaru with 5.5 out of
This
6.
is the
It is
American
correct.
Cup,
He
and the
stands in tie
players
for
were
second.
finding their
I
seats.
like how he got.
This is the American Cup Blitz tournament. The players were finding their seats, but now they're kind of all over the place. There's Hikaru. And we're about to start. Jaren, if it's not too much to ask, can we get the standings out just so that everyone can just quickly see what's going on? Levon Aronian is the only player who is within a point of Hikaru. That means Levon now, with a win, can overtake Hikaru in the standings. But on the other hand, if Hikaru wins, he will increase an already significant lead over the rest of the pack. I'm Jon Ludwig Hammer, and I'm joined by James Canty III. And here are the standings, James. Hikaru up top, but what do you think about Wesley So on 19th?
Dang, that's crazy. Oh, he just had a rough time. And he only had 2 losses and 2 draws. That's like, wow. Like in his field, oh yeah, I'm doing okay, 50% kind of thing, right? But in fact, no, wow, that is not a regular Wesley there. He's just not in great form here. Sometimes it happens. Bach down there too as well. Ilya in the middle, and Antipov at 7th there. He was going off too as well. But at the top, Hikaru, Levon, and Fabi.
Top 20 all grandmasters, I notice, and we're off with the game. Hikaru uses his king's pawn, and Levon Arunian playing the French. Hikaru going for the exchange variation, considered a very safe way of playing for white, and safety first may be Hikaru's motto right now, seeing as how he leads the tournament.
Yeah, and for Levon, I actually figured if E4 was happening, I probably was going to say French because Levon has been employing that a lot lately. The variation you hate to see, actually, as a French player, if you're playing the French, is the exchange variation. So generally annoying, but he did take on C4 here. Generally, I know theories is with early bishop F5, but I guess he just wanted to isolate the pawn, which is good. You can isolate the pawn and then end up playing bishop F5 at some point. So so far so good. I think we have a clear battle here of the isolated pawn. White has it, so you have to play dynamically. Black's trying to play against it, which he's doing a great job already, having both knights controlling the square in front of the pawn, which is the D5 square.
Ooh, but one of those knights could end up in trouble right now. The bishop immediately pointing in against Black's queen and the knight in front of it. Levon actually changes his mind there about where to put his bishop.
Yeah, so now that's a good move. Do I take or not to take?
Yeah.
That's the question.
That makes a lot of sense from Hikaru. Going to have a trade here.
Take.
Then maybe H6.
And yeah, equal. All right, each H6.
Well, I don't know about equal. There is the possibility of knight to E6, but then Hikaru will very likely sacrifice his rook.
Easy. I definitely will take there. Don't like my king on this diagonal. G8 takes king H8. What happens next? Rook E1 maybe. Put some more pressure. Rook E8. And
computer really likes this for white. Even though Hikaru sacrificed a rook for a knight and a pawn, white is favored in this position. So instead, Levon moves his king.
Absolutely. Got to get off that line because I want to play F6. So yeah, he's like, not today. Yeah,
but look at that. Hikaru makes the trade, which lured the black bishop away from the control of that E5 square. The knight immediately takes advantage, and now they're attacking the pawn that the black king abandoned when it went into the corner.
Kind of annoying because I think I have to go back. Not and it's played. Yeah,
and Levon does go back, but now Hikaru, he's sensing the momentum here. He's got his pieces in more attacking positions. He's forced Levon to move back and forth with the king, and now he's making additional threats to the black queen side.
So yeah, and rook b8, which is a very natural move, will be responded with probably rook a to d1. And now my question is what happens on knight d5 after all of this? Knight to d5 seems to be bad somehow.
Well, I
Yeah,
guess you just go for the
takes,
trade,
what do
and
I
you
do
have the
next?
superior knight against
Yeah.
the bishop.
It's an easier way to play it, to say the least. Okay.
And we'll get to test this probably.
It's happening
Because
now.
what now if not that knight forward from Levon?
Yeah, this knight is a menace on e5. Ugh. I go g6, king, g7, and f6. I mean, this is a gross plan, but I just need to get rid of this knight. It's such a great piece on e5.
Levon now down 1 minute and 25 seconds. And he does go with knight to d5. We'll test out this pawn structure that you were talking about, James.
Yeah, because you have to take with the pawn because queen takes allowed, takes, and knight d7, winning on the spot. So you have to take with the pawn. Takes, knight d7, hit the button, aka resign. So pawn takes d5, and now we just have a better position with the pieces. Like my rooks are better. I have pressure on the B pawn. The D pawn could be pressured as well. You can see a potential rook lift like rook D or E3. He goes knight G4 with the idea of knight E3. Very strong.
Beautiful move. Rook up, knight back. He's just getting ready for all of his pieces to attack the black pawn in the center. And this pawn is a so-called isolated pawn, cannot be protected by other pawns, which means it's extra vulnerable to attacks.
Very strong. You might have to make a queen move like queen to d7, which is played. The idea is rook f to d8, but I don't see myself defending this pawn. Rook e5, rook d8, knight e3, and yeah, this is now a bad day in the office.
And look, Hikaru still has that 1 minute, 25-second time advantage, and he's winning the pawn.
A bad day in the office. Absolutely. Not good here. Pawn is just gone. That's just it. And now I have a passed pawn, and I'm just up clearly. White's in the clear edge.
Hikaru now, the only thing that can go wrong is thinking about the consequences. If he wins this game, he will very, very likely win the tournament. He's already faced off against some of the most difficult opponents. With a win here, he's going to have at minimum a full point lead moving into the last 2 rounds. You just got to make that pawn use that pawn to get the win here.
He repeats once, and now he wants to say, do I trade or not trade? Do I go somewhere else? Lots of moves to figure out here. 27 seconds for Levon. And Hikaru on the move, but a lot of options.
Yeah, Hikaru is struggling to find a way forward that he's happy with. Makes the decision in the end to trade rooks and push the pawn.
That felt the most natural, actually, too. Just milk the position, both sides of the board, play everywhere. Like I have an extra pawn. I can always play knight f5 and d6 at some point. We'll weaken it, but you know, I'm gonna play on. I got the extra pawn. I have so much time here. 5 question mark. Who cares?
I don't understand why that gets a question mark. Seems
Right.
fine to me.
Seems like a fine move. D6 was a threat, so he plays G6, making some love for the king.
Another question mark. That's harsh.
Is D6 not winning? Take, check. Wait, is it winning? D6
Oh, this
takes,
is so cool. This is such a tactic.
And checking queen e5.
Wow.
Oh, but he takes on. Wait, how
And
is it?
apparently this is still a draw.
Right.
Okay.
How is that draw?
Yeah, no, apparently this thing I thought was the brilliant move turned out to just end in a draw.
He goes F6.
And Hikaru decides a different direction.
Takes, check, queen check. You might have to take with the knight there instead of the rook.
Levon is down to 6 seconds.
Takes, d1. Got the extra
we have
pawn.
the extra pawn, and it's protected.
F1.
Agreed.
Yeah, run the boy.
Ooh, he's going for the fork.
Tricky knight.
Now the king is struggling to approach white's pawn because all of these squares are being controlled by the white pieces. So pawn f4 here. King over, rook, pawn up here. Just get the king involved.
With 8 seconds for Levon here, has to move basically instantly.
Good move from Hikaru. Just make the trade now and keep moving up, I think. No, king up first, maybe.
I did like trade too. Trade looks good, but also king f3. I guess both are fine. Takes.
Hikaru's getting his king to the e4 square. It's going to be controlling the board from there. Moves the knight.
A little reroute. Maybe go to B5.
Yeah, but where's he going?
Yeah,
He's
B5.
here?
Yeah, that's a nice idea. Very nice idea.
Okay, he's going here. Okay, he made it. He made it to the e4 square. We were right about the final destination, but not the journey that got it there. The knight. Wait. Why is the computer not saying Hikaru's easily winning?
I was trying to figure out how to. I was actually trying to figure out how to proceed because, like, now my knight's weird. Pushing allows king e6, so I'm actually concerned a little bit here now. Is how do I make progress?
Hikaru's really struggling to find a plan. His 1 minute 20-second time advantage has become much smaller right now.
This is tough. How do I make progress? Like, I got the pawn, but where's the hope?
At some point, you just got to move fast, Hikaru. Don't bother about trying to find the best moves. Just any move will do. And that's going to do it.
There we go. Oof, man.
Rook check, forcing the rook trade, and then the knight will pick up 2 more pawns. King has to move, trade between the rooks, then knight takes pawn, check on the king. That was just 2 pawns right there and then. Getting the checks at the right moments. Hikaru didn't inspire massive confidence in that conversion, but he had more time than his opponent, and he put his opponent under pressure for the duration of the game. And in the end, 11 Aronian cracked under the pressure.
And that pressure being the time. It happens time and time again as this time control is very fast. So, of course, he definitely milked the clock there as much as he could. I got an extra pawn. Just keep playing on and wait for that blunder. And it happened. Hikaru for the win. Once again, he's looking to take this thing cleanly at the top.
But there are still players chasing Hikaru 1 point behind. Fabiano Caruana, the man even I managed to beat in Blitz chess once upon a time. He has become a lot better at that time control since 2015. And he is up there together with Hikaru, only 1 point behind. Also, in the discussion for the first place is Sam Sevian, who I believe will be Hikaru's next opponent. Sam, having beaten Gregory Oparin, he is only 1 point behind Hikaru.
Damn, I am. In fact, we actually have a game still going, actually, which is a rook in game. All the rook in games are drawn, as they say, but that is this Linier versus Mikhail and Antipov, where they are playing this for now, but likely to be drawn pawns on the same side. And if we do trade them off, we are likely to have sort of theoretical drawn in games like Philidor position and etc. This is definitely the last game of the round.
Normally I would say this should be a draw, but I swear I've lost similar positions in the past. You can never take anything for granted in Blitz.
Absolutely. Yes. Especially with no time here. Like you're playing on seconds. Always makes it more difficult.
Kick the Zero says Hikaru versus Fabi now. I don't think so. I think Hikaru will play against Sam Sevian because Hikaru just had the white pieces and Sam Sevian just had the black pieces. So because the colors are a better fit, I think Hikaru will face Sevian instead of Caruana. Draws in both the remaining rounds must be good now. Yes, I think if Hikaru draws both the next games, he will win the tournament.
Wow.
Which also means that if he wins, no, it doesn't also mean, no, because if he wins one and loses one, then he can be caught by the guy who beats him.
His tie breaks might be better there,
but two draws is good enough, because then you know he's also gotten half a point away from someone who was trying to overtake him. And so two draws is good enough. A win and a loss may not be.
Okay, guys, we need a good energy. We need a win and a draw at the very least.
Why aren't some players playing every game, asks Jack. The thing is, everyone is playing every game, but it's not every game that's being relayed on these electronic boards. So these players have more points than what the chess.com system would suggest. In fact, I have the organizers sending me the standings after each round so that we get it right on our broadcast. Can you do this endgame, James? I'm going to get this standing to our producer.
Sure, guys, this is definitely, it should be drawn, as what we say. And we say should be because things can happen, especially in lower time frames. When you're playing with these lower time controls, crazy things can happen, but it seems like his king is a little bit too far away, white's that is, to try to create some problems. What we need to do is try to trade off our last pawn, which is hard to do here. And even when it is traded off, Black's king is optimally placed to be able to hold off white here in this being a theoretically drawn endgame. So see what happens. 11 seconds, 10 seconds here. It should be something like maybe even 50 move rule is actually far from here because we did have a pawn to capture. Don't know when that last one happened, but yeah, guys, 50 move rule is in play. They are shuffling.
And this is the current standings with 2 rounds remaining. I guess a bit of a spoiler that Antipov did up drawing Dominguez here. You can see that D6 already on Antipov. That means draw against number 6, which is Dominguez. And Hikaru has a full point lead. And coming up behind him, Fabiano Caruana and Sam Sevian is within 1 point. And then Aronian and Antipov behind that.
Right. Yeah, this was a draw here. So that's going to be next round will be coming up with the pairings. Likely to be Sam. Could be Fabi, but definitely looking like Sam.
Someone in chat was saying it's confirmed that it's Sam. Do they have secret info? I have secret info, actually, in my email. Yeah, I'm gonna spoil it. It is Sam Sevian.
Sam.
I was right that it made because Sam Sevian fit to play against Hikaru due to the colors, because they had opposite colors in this previous round.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Are we doing did we do the results? Hikaru beats Aronian, wins many straight games here to take a commanding lead in this Blitz tournament. Caruana, well done to beat Ray Robson. He's chasing Hikaru together with Sam Sevian. And on the point group after that again is Levon Aronian, despite losing, is still involved. Up there in the top, as is the former world junior champion, Mikhail Antipov. 2 rounds remaining, people. Hikaru could potentially win the tournament already 1 game prior to its end if he beats Sam Sevian, and if Fabiano Caruana does not succeed in beating Levon Aronian. That will have the tournament decided already. But Hikaru has the black pieces. It's going to be a difficult task. Fabiano also has the black pieces. So it's going to be tricky for Fabi to keep pace But on the other hand, if Sam Sevian manages to beat Hikaru, then Sam is on equal amount of points. So nothing decided just yet. Draws are very, very good for Hikaru in this moment. And we'll take a little break and be back to show you the action. Welcome to not the American Cup. It is rather the American Cup Blitz edition. The Blitz tournament at the end of it all. Hikaru's already won the American Cup proper. Now he's trying to take down the Blitz as well. And frankly, he's succeeding. So far, he just needs to avoid losing in these final 2 games to be crowned the victor of this tournament. I'm Jon Ludwig Hammer, and I'm joined by James Canty. And James, considering that Hikaru has such a significant lead, is that going to affect his mentals going into this game? Is he going to be on the defensive here?
Yeah, I've never known Hikaru to even be on defensive, which seems as he just knows his strength and he knows where he is. So that gives a lot of confidence to as well. And he's playing well. So I think he's just going to play his game, whatever the chances that he can get by moving fast and gaining a time edge that he generally does will give him a chance in kind of almost not any position, but even positions that are, more equal than not, he will find some chances when the time gets lower. He's going to play his game, I think. And here we go.
Okay, E4, E5, no Sicilian.
No Sicilian.
The Italian we've gotten very, very acquainted with over this past week.
Bishop E7, very topical these days. Just gets a game very quickly.
Same opening Hikaru used against Fabiano. He's going for this early trade between the bishops. No trade happens. Then pawn to A5. This is very similar to what Hikaru played against Dominguez also earlier this week. If you haven't been tuning in, let's just say it's been Italian week in the chess community.
Yeah, so many Italian games have been played from both colors, white and black here. There's just so much going on with the Italian game. 97, like this move here. That's different.
I agree. I would go so far as to just make this trade and maneuver the knight to take over the bishop's placement. Yeah, a lot of the time, people pretend like they're going to recapture with this B pawn, but I don't really have faith in that. I'm not sure this pawn formation is that good. Hikaru instead, bishop to G4.
Oh, okay. Put a pin on the knight. So bishop H5, G. Oh, he wants to come around. Maybe G4, knight G3, or just knight G3.
Oh, the bishop is trapped. The bishop is trapped. If the bishop moves, the other knight is going to grab it.
So we are grabbing a key piece that white loves to use. And we're grabbing it not for, generally you'll trade them for our light square bishop, but we're actually getting it for a knight. So that's actually very favorable for black here. And we can now push the F pawn, which we see a lot. So there may be some knight takes in F5 now, which G4 now stops that.
Ooh, very aggressive from Sevian. He knows he must win to be in contention to win the tournament. I see no reason for Hikaru to avoid taking out this bishop. That is what he was planning.
There it is. And now it's about what is the next plan? Like, how do we maybe develop pieces? I like that.
I like the knight on E6.
That is nice.
Actually, moving the knight to E6 like this takes 4 moves. But if I go queen up and then around, that's only 3 moves.
Ooh, that's a little bit easier, especially get the queen off the back rank too as well. King H8. Not sure where he's going with that one. Knight B4.
Ooh, I don't like this from Hikaru. I want that knight on the E6 square.
Get to F4.
Maybe he's going here.
He might be trying to break with D5, but like this C6, F6, and D5. So that's going to be a long time. But F6. Yeah, there's C6. Oh yeah, H4, H5 is super annoying. Oh my goodness, not a fan of that. Yeah, not a fan. Maybe
I think
f6 anyway.
maybe just rook h1, right?
Yeah, rook h1, f6, h4, bishop f7, h5, d5.
Okay, at least this got Sevian thinking. Pawn to h4, not possible immediately due to the black bishop pointed in against that pawn. Although I guess you can.
Yeah, it kind of is. It can be played, but it is like risky. I mean, you take rook h1, queen moves, and then like, okay, why'd you sack? Really? Like, we could go knight f5, but like,
yeah, it feels okay for black, but the computer thinks it's not.
Yeah.
c5.
Oh, that's good. I like c5.
f6.
Because I was trying to go f6, d5, but now I can't go d5. And now h4. That was fancy. I'm not gonna lie, that was a nice play from Sam. He definitely.
I mean, it was definitely fancy, but at the same time, pawn trades often favor the player with the two bishops.
Yeah.
Because now there's more open diagonals for the bishops to lend their assistance to. Hikaru's scared of some kind of sacrifice with the knight coming in here.
These knights are working. Look at the knights. Knight g6 is vicious. At some point, you can get this to work.
It seems very dangerous for Hikaru to take that knight. But the good thing is, if the knight comes in, you don't have to take it. No one's forcing you.
That's right. That is
you can just avoid opening up because you don't want to open up for the white rook along the edge of the board.
Yeah, he's trying it. He's going to swing over to h3 at some point and maybe even queen h1. Try to get knight g6 in, but
maybe actually rook g3 and then g5.
Yeah, he's going for it. Clearly, white has a clear plan to just attack black.
But what about b5 for Hikaru? Makes sense to me.
I love it. Yeah, I think he says he probably like, I don't have to capture. So I'll probably just sit there and do something else. Maybe rook g3. Rook d8, question mark. Maybe he wants bishop f8.
Seems okay for Hikaru. He's got to go h6 to prevent g5. And now bishop to f8. This seems reasonable.
So now sacrifices are no more. He might try f4.
Oh, God. Hikaru blundered.
Oh, my goodness.
Bishop steps back, but that is just asking for it.
Oh, my goodness. Bishop f8 had to be played, right? Let me see if we see anything from Hikaru. He takes it, and Hikaru shakes his head. Oh, bishop
he couldn't
f8.
recapture. The knight would come in. The queen would come in.
He
tries just moving back, but now he's down a pawn for no good reason.
Yeah, he just kind of blundered there.
Knight to g6 is coming in as well.
How do we? Oh yeah, knight g6 is gross. Yeah, and then he's gonna take the bishop.
Well, actually, queen here, and you're keeping this defended. We did see a miracle save when Hikaru struck back against Mishra. Hikaru was down like 2 pawns, and his king was weak, and the queens had been traded, and Hikaru still managed to win that. We need some kind of miracle here for Hikaru to survive this. His king remains under attack. He's down a pawn.
Oh, this is ugly, man. This is ugly. I wanted to go
maybe if he can get queen takes e4. Queen takes. Oh no, sorry, the queen was defended. Never mind.
Oh, good. Queen a2. That's a good move. Hitting c2. Hitting c2. Put some pressure on him.
Going for the queen trade. Queen trade could be nice here.
Yes. F6 is hanging.
Defended.
Oh my goodness, this is gross. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. F6 is hanging too. King weak. Yeah, this is rough. Bishop g7. Okay, we went rook d7. Maybe he's trying to double. Is there something on d3? No. Yeah, there's another pawn. Okay, rook e4 incoming.
This is tough for Hikaru. He was so close to just completely destroying this entire tournament.
And cruising.
But now suddenly he's going to get Sam Sevian on equal amount of points as himself, and the queen got trapped.
Gone? Oh, that's a wrap. Oh, snap.
The queen got trapped. Hikaru resigns.
My goodness.
Well done by Sam Sevian. That was a good game from him, but unnecessary blunder here. Bishop to f7. That's the kind of thing where, you know, even great players make big blunders, but it usually happens when they're scared about their king. You have to attack them in order to make them nervous.
And you know what, with Bishop F8, I think he didn't like knight G6 and then maybe some type of sacrifices or something. But yeah, because I guess Bishop F8 wasn't the strongest either. So
let's check in with Fabiano Caruana.
Here we go.
Because he also now can get the same amount of points as Hikaru if he wins this game. Spoiler alert, he's not going to win because he's down a bishop, a knight, and a pawn in trade for a rook.
That was a nice setup there. As if he wins, nice, he will have the same, but he is not going to win this one as he is down some material. And he's looking to convert. Levon, that is 97. We take on F7 next.
Well, if you take here now, potential counterplay.
Bishop A2
though. Yeah.
Bishop A2.
It just took a little while before Levon saw that as well. He was clearly calculating, can I take this pawn?
Yeah.
And when he realized, oh, I'm controlling this square.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
It was all good.
Got the two bishops, very strong. Bishop E5 is threatening.
Just get the knight back into defense, and there's nothing that can go wrong.
Here comes some mating ideas.
Oh, he even got this one. That's nice. I think that's going to cause a resignation right there. Levon Aronian, well done him. He overtakes Fabiano with that win. I believe Levon is at now 6 out of 8. And Fabi's at 5.5. Let's see if we have some of the other results of this round. Antipov has beaten Ray Robson.
He's just on a tear. I mean, he just having an incredible tournament. Antipov is. I have this vicious play from him today.
I believe Antipov now might be on pair with Levon, half a point behind Hikaru. Sam Sevian and Hikaru are both leading this tournament. Let me go check my email real quick and see if I have received the standings. I have. Okay, we're going to take a break and we're going to put on the standings as they sit after 8 rounds played. Sam Sevian and Hikaru Nakamura are fighting for first place. Hikaru gets the black pieces against Antipov in the final round. This is the final round, people.
Let's go.
And Sam Sevian has the black pieces against Levon Aronian. So those are the situations. Both Sam and Hikaru needs to win, but it's better to draw than to lose. And Hikaru could still win the tournament with a draw. Well, he cannot win the tournament alone with it. We'll put the standings up while we have the break, and then we can discuss the potential implications afterwards. Ace of chess from St. Louis is coming to an end. This is the final round we have to offer you. The American Cup was already won by Hikaru, but he's trying to do the double with the American Cup Blitz tournament. But in order to win that, he will need to defeat the former world junior champion, Mikhail Antipov, with the black pieces. And this Antipov guy is no slouch. He has beaten both Levon Aronian and Sam Sevian, the two other contenders for the first prize earlier in the tournament. I'm Jon Ludwig Hammer, and I'm joined by James Canty III. And James, we have the standings up on our screen. Hikaru in the lead with 6.5 points. If you could scroll down a little bit, Jaren. And then equal on points with Hikaru is Sam Sevian. Chasing them, Levon Aronian and Mikhail Antipov. We have the strange situation that for the final round, with Hikaru facing Antipov and Levon facing Sevian, every one of these 4 players has to win in order to win the tournament.
That's crazy. Like all everyone has to win because the 5.5s there could catch some of them. But Hikaru drawing, yes, if he loses 6.5, then Sam would be 7 up there. So Levon could actually tie, and Antipov winning would be 7. Yeah, it's just a lot of what ifs here. So it all depends on basically like the easy way is just win your game. Yeah, it's easy. Okay, right. Yeah. Easier said than done against these guys. What are you talking about? Play your best chess and hope for the best. But here anything can really happen, especially with these people being very close in the standings like that.
Oh, I'm the one who hadn't scrolled down. My bad. I was blaming. Oof. Everything about to be on the line. That loss was devastating for Hikaru, though. How do you keep your mentals good for the last round, coming off a loss like that?
I remember learning something from Hikaru a long time ago, as I've been working, with him for many events and things like that, and just personally talking to him. And he said you have to have short-term memory loss when it comes to stuff like this. So I always still do that. You have a tough loss, you just literally short-term memory loss, forget about it. You have a game in front of you. Because if you don't, it will affect your next game. And sometimes you'll see the players shaking their heads still from like the last game, thinking about what happened in the last game. And that same energy is channeled into the game in front of you currently, where you could actually lose the game or make emotional based decisions, which is usually not the greatest anyway, is to make emotional based decisions. So, especially in the chess here, just get over it. As he said, short term memory loss, get into this next game, and I have a game in front of me. Let's just play the board.
And here we have on the video Hikaru sitting down by the black pieces, Antipov sitting on the white side. I saw a guy in red pass the board in the camera. That was 11 Aronian, who also still has an opportunity to win this tournament. I got a question in chat who asked, what if Hikaru draws and Sevian draws? Does Hikaru win the tournament then? Well, yes, then Hikaru is among those with the most amount of points, but Hikaru cannot go into this game thinking that a draw is good enough, because what if Sevian wins? Which is why at the start of the game, everyone has to assume that only a win is good enough for this game.
Yeah, and this is why you have to obviously it's a lot of nerves here because you do want to win the game, and if you're comfortable with a draw, that could immediately just crush your chances. But it's not like it's try to win from a drawn theoretically drawn position. That's not the way to do it. It's just if I have chances to fight and push, keep this game going, let's take them. And here we go, another. This is ridiculous. Like how many Italian games, guys? I mean, if we had $1 for every Italian game, I think everyone in the chat would be rich today. We all would be. Wow.
It's been a flurry of Italian games, but Antipov has not been playing the American Cup, so he may not have that same experience. Oh no, did the broadcast? Oh no, the broadcast has failed.
Oh shoot.
We're gonna have to try and do commentary with the moves that we can see on the board. He didn't cancel. So I'm trying to keep current with the moves based on what I'm seeing on the screen.
How did his bishop get?
No. Give me the video. Give me the video, Jaren. I was following the moves. Yeah. So on my analysis board, we have the right position. We can also just do commentary on the board itself. Antipov has rushed a pawn up on the left side of the board. This pawn is hoping to become a new queen some point in the future. Needs to eliminate this black pawn, but that is a long-term plan for them.
And now with black here, we do want to probably get rid of this knight at some point too, and then swing around with knight e7s. Oh, I think the moves are in now. Actually,
yeah, rook b8 played by Hikaru. He probably wants to expand his influence on the queen side, push that pawn up there.
There we go. Moves
rook into the center from Antipov.
b5 intention.
Well, I mean, that was obviously what Hikaru was intending when moving the rook. I don't know why he didn't follow it up.
Yeah, that definitely is like, play on one side and play on the other. It definitely will throw you off. B5 was what he wanted, but now, I mean, with H6 on the board, White has a chance to maybe try to get away before B5 even happens.
Tense position. I'm going to do something very unorthodox here, James. I'm going to move to the Aronian Sevian game just to have a peek on what's going on there. Look at Levon Aronian using all his pawns in the middle of the board.
Yeah.
This is looking decent for Levon, which means maybe Sam Sevian is not going to win his game. But Hikaru still needs to avoid a loss. And look at this, a double question. That is harsh.
That is harsh. Okay, what's the problem? It's really not easy to spot, in fact, at all. Yeah, I don't see the problem. We take on F6, takes, bishop d5, 97. I don't understand at all.
You're saying bishop here attacks the knight, and this is a big issue.
Interesting.
I guess the problem is if the knight moves back, then you can trade and you lose a pawn in front of your king.
Yeah,
that's not great. Ooh, that move is played.
Well, I mean, I could just go back, right, to d7. Like, I mean, is it really that bad? Bishop d7 and just okay. Hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, good point. Good point. Ooh, no, actually, not good point. Computer says bishop d7,
GG.
queen a4.
It's over on the spot. You lose material. Unbelievable. What? Wow, that a pawn was so vicious.
But wait, here bishop moves back. Turns out if bishop takes knight, you intercept.
Oh, this is diabolical. That's crazy. B5 and it takes 6. Yeah.
But Hikaru's in massive trouble now. He needs to find some kind of save with his clock ticking down. He makes the trade in the center.
And then 97.
Okay, but now he's going to lose the central pawn. For Hikaru, he cannot care about winning his game anymore. He just has to try to survive to a draw and hope that Sam Sevian does not manage to win his game. Quick look there. Sam Sevian versus Levon Aronian. Levon Aronian still somewhat better there. So that's the good news for Hikaru. The bad news is that he is under tremendous pressure in his own game.
Okay, so h3 on the board. He didn't snatch e5, so that means we get to save it, which he does. So takes knight g6. Okay, and the worst isn't over, but I mean, knight g6 defends the pawn, and bishop d3, I have f5.
We can go pawn to f5 next.
Yeah, this not as, I mean, engine crushes us and everything, but as a human, practically here, I'm playing f5 and e4 next.
And look how this also affects Antipov's time. He was up on time there for a little moment, but now he's back.
That's a good move, boy. That is a sick move. I have to move the knight to f5.
Well, I can go king up and then f5.
Oh, yeah,
no?
king h7. Yeah, you're right. King h7 is nice.
But maybe I'm a bit scared of this bishop coming in here, and then if I go f5, just g4.
E4.
Trying to brute force through this defensive structure.
Oh my goodness, is there rook e4 after that?
Oh no, he played
crazy.
it. King h7 played. Now the bishop can point in at the king.
Yeah, bishop d3. Bishop d3, f5, g4, e4, rook e4, I think is possible, which is a diabolical combo.
But great news that Antipov is spending so much time here.
30 seconds left.
Anything can happen when your opponent only has 30 seconds. Not to mention 20 seconds.
He finds it, of course he does. F5,
F3. He was scared of e4.
Woo! Man,
yeah, but still, g4 next is a problem.
G4 anyway.
How are you dealing with this g4 move, Hikaru?
He probably still is going e4, and he does. E4. Now, if it takes, I think we take on g4. Oh, 95, even better. Hitting bishop d3. So bishop e2 has to be played.
Only move, bishop e2. Only move not to lose for Antipov.
7 seconds makes it.
He found it, but now there's a problem. Hikaru wants to push this pawn, but then he loses his knight.
And we can't go g6. Queen h6.
So he protects the knight instead, but now he's losing a second pawn.
Oh, yeah, especially if he does gh, and he does. We want a knight f3 check, but we can't.
Okay, we're about to capture. Oh, look at
there
that.
We go.
The bishop getting involved.
Oh, that's so annoying. Takes. Boy,
oh, he managed. Antipov doing a great job defending here while being low on time. He got his pieces into good defensive positions.
Antipov playing incredible in low time here. Oh, it's crazy. I don't have a move. Like, what do I play? Like, what is this? Queen E7.
I guess Hikaru's going for the trade of the bishops. Trade of rooks.
Yeah, it's not good. Okay, Queen E4 on pre. But yeah, I can't take on E4.
Ooh, what about F6 now?
Queen E6, he wants to trade. Is it forced?
We cannot avoid it. If we avoid it, then we lose our bishop.
Knight G5. We still have some tactics here. Knight G5,
we're
Queen
attacking
H3.
The queen.
Queen H3. Do we have a perpet? Queen
a draw
E4?
here could make Hikaru the winner of the tournament. Let's check in with the Levon Aronian. Levon Aronian is winning his game. Levon Aronian is up a pawn. So if Hikaru survives this game, he will win the tournament, or at least be shared winner with Levon.
Queen takes E4 or knight takes E4. Here come the attack. Oh, you can't. The rook's hanging. Maybe rook E8. I don't even know if we have time for that. We do, because there's no rook E5.
Queen C6, only good move, apparently.
You're not going to find that with 3 seconds. There's no way. Knight F3
double
check.
question mark.
Or knight takes E4 or something. Boom, there it is. We're back in the game, boys.
The rook, the queen working against the white king.
Knight F6, King F2.
Oh, he changed his mind. Check. Oh, no, he decided to go for this check on the king.
Perpet, you want to draw, bro?
Oh, he wants to draw.
You want to draw, bro?
We want to draw. Hikaru, we want to draw,
bro.
He's going to sack the rook.
You want to draw? Oh, come on, man.
He goes for the tournament win here.
Come on, bro.
No, but we can win this now. The king is exposed.
You want to draw, bro? Check. Check.
Check.
You want to draw? Rook E4. Ugh, that's a dagger. You better take the draw.
Check. This is a draw.
Repeat. Oh, repeat. Check.
We can repeat now.
H4.
Oh, no, he went for something else.
I'm not going to lie. That was a nice move. Rook G4. Check and king. Wait, how?
Oh, he blundered the queen. Hikaru wins.
Get him off the board. Oh, my
Hikaru
goodness.
wins the tournament.
Hikaru wins it.
Oh, my God. That was so clutch.
Wow.
Hikaru was dead and lost during that. It looked for some time there that Hikaru was going to lose 2 games in a row.
Wow. Call the ambulance.
We got to go to Levon. Levon has won his game. Hikaru wins the tournament.
But not for me. Call the ambulance, but not for me. Hikaru with the dub. And he wins back-to-back tournaments here. Excellent. Of course, couldn't get us when we were down. You got to kill us in every time, every format. You got to be more accurate. Hikaru wins. Great job. Great job.
Okay, and I'm being told we have the man of the hour knocking on our door. Still some games being played, but we don't really care about that. We're going to talk to the double winner of the American Cup. It's Hikaru Nakamura.
How are you guys doing?
We're kind of hyped right now. That was quite the game.
I mean, okay. That's one way of putting it.
I didn't say it was good.
No, I mean, I basically, you know, for me, I played more or less. I mean, okay, the first game against Karissa was pretty terrible, but I basically played 6 perfect. I don't want to say perfect, but like really, really good games. And then this game against Sevi, and I just got really sloppy for one move. And after that, the whole tournament went from being what should have been a cakewalk and an easy victory to complete mess. And this last game was obviously, you know, very, very messy. It's no secret that Antipov is a longtime second of Fabiano, and this was clearly a line that he had looked at and prepared. I mean, Fabiano luckily didn't play it against me in this tournament, but it's clearly something he had prepared for Fabiano. So I walked into this prep, and then I thought I had survived at some point when I got King H7 and F5, but I mean, Antipov, to his credit, found this F3 G4, and I was sure that I was better, but somehow I wasn't. Like after should I have gone Bishop H4, by the way?
After F3?
Yeah, I was wondering if I should have gone Bishop H4.
Yeah, computer likes that. I'm guessing to sit on G3. But like the computer was saying, if he goes G4 instead of F3, he can sack the rook.
Oh, it's rook E4.
Yeah, rook E4. Yeah. That's why I looked at that. I thought that was crazy.
Oh, geez.
And then
Oh,
some
geez.
kind of
Bishop G5 is too
madness.
dank. Yeah, that's nuts.
I mean, you're
Oof.
not going to find this in Blitz, but we were certainly nervous about the general idea of the white bishop pointing at
Yeah, I
your
mean,
king.
I didn't see after as soon as I played Queen D7, I saw Bishop H4. But I still thought I should have been fine. I mean, Queen D7, what did he play? He played G4, right?
Yeah.
And here, is E4? Should I have gone Knight H4? No, Knight H4.
I don't know. E4 seems very logical, no?
Yeah.
Yeah,
E4
but the problem
definitely.
is after Knight E5, Bishop E2, what do I do?
Yeah. Well, computer wants F4.
Oh,
Yikes.
F4, F3. Oh, F4, F3.
F3, you get F2 actually.
But you can't really
Yeah,
have 30 seconds left in this position. You can't expect to play the good moves.
Oof.
But even here, like you're
Oof.
struggling with the black pieces.
Yeah, but I mean, but then like the thing is, he was already down to like 2 seconds. But I mean, maybe it's just I'm getting old, or maybe the times are changing. But these guys, they keep finding moves. Like it's just insane. I mean, he had like 2 seconds from this point on after 95 Bishop E2, and he just kept finding good moves. Like his name is Antipov, not Grishuk or Ali Reza, but he just kept finding every move. I mean, it was so annoying because I was sure that he was going to crack and I was going to win this game, and then he kept finding great moves. Like I mean, obviously, like that's my way of showing a lot of respect, but it's just like I expected a blunder somewhere, and then he finds everything.
Yeah, he was
Well,
playing
not
great.
everything. You did end up winning the game.
No, I know, but I mean, even here when I went Knight F7, I thought I had tricked him. I didn't see Queen E6, and then he finds Queen E6, and I'm very lucky I have this Queen H4 resource. But I still think it's losing, right? If he goes Queen E7 instead of Queen D6.
Let's see, Queen E7.
No. Bishop takes
yes.
bishop. Yeah, sorry, I was watching the stream, not the Zoom. Yeah, Queen E7's winning. So I mean, I guess I got lucky here that he missed it. But then after Queen D6, like it feels like I have to be winning, but like I'm not. I'm still just not. It's still bad. Wow.
Yeah, but with the time situation, it's not,
No, but I mean, I thought there had to be some way to at least draw, but there isn't. So keep going.
I mean,
Right, I
you
played rook
definitely
E8.
made it very, very difficult for him, though.
Right, and now after Queen G6, there must be a way to win, right? Is Queen G6 what he played here? Oh, no, he played Rook D4, sorry. He played Rook D4.
Yeah.
Wait, so I'm not winning even here. Wow.
No.
Wow.
From a human standpoint, it did feel like this, like you have to be winning, right? He felt the same way. He was
That's
like, oh, you
that's
gotta
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I mean, considering how low both of you were on time, you played this very well.
That's insane. Yeah, and then even here, I mean, it's after Rook G4, there's still Queen E8, Queen G6 to draw the game.
Yeah, I thought that Queen G6 thing was like, oh, yes, Queen G6. And like, this is crazy.
Ah.
Yeah, that loses it.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's just insane.
Wow, what a game.
But I mean, I guess like you guys know, I look at everything on sort of as like I look at it as glass half full. And honestly, I never should have lost the game to Sevian. So I think this game kind of was sort of the equalizer in a way. I mean, that's so it is what it is. But I mean, Antipov clearly, I mean, he played a great game, and every time I thought it was over, he found some move and kept some kind of advantage and a lot of pressure. So I mean, a lot of credit goes to him because I thought I was going to win this game at some point. With him so low on time, but I mean, he played like a god with 2 seconds on his clock. It's just insane.
So with this, you are the double champ, Hikaru. Congratulations. Anything you want to add to the fans?
Yeah, I mean, big shout out to everybody who was watching.
Let's go.
Yeah, big shout out to all the fans, to you guys who do the commentary. I mean, I don't know. I'm so shocked by this last game. It's just like, I don't know. It just felt like he found every move with 2 seconds on the clock, and I'm just not used to it. So I'm still kind of just yeah, it'll take a little bit of time to process it. But someone did ask the question, what was my favorite game? And definitely the game against Levon was my favorite game because that was a game where I got a very clean advantage out of the opening and I just kept squeezing him. I know that I misplayed it a little bit towards the end, but it felt like a very controlled sort of win. So that was probably my favorite game from the Blitz today.
Yeah, no, in the middle there, you were crushing them one after another, and such important games. It wasn't like first you beat the guy who was ahead of you, then you beat the guy who was close, even with you, with Ray, and then you got the next one as well. You just pushed them further and further down on the standings.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought I played very well, and then the game against Sevian. I mean, obviously credit to Sevian. He found this idea to at least put the knights on H4 and F5, and then he saw the sack on G7. So, but yeah, it's good. It's just it felt like it should have been a clean win, and it wasn't clean because of the Sevian game. So it is what it is. But overall, it's still a good thing to get a win. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to doing a recap. Big shout out to like Jaren who produced this and everything else. So yeah, it was a wild day.
Congrats, man. You won 2 back-to-backs, man. What you gonna do? You gonna rest now? Now you can rest a little bit?
Well, there's a closing ceremony that I have to go to pretty soon. And then after the closing ceremony, of course, I'll be streaming Title Tuesday tomorrow morning. I think I'm going to do that here on Kick most likely. It might be on Twitch, but probably on Kick. So I'll stream Title Tuesday and then I'll fly back to Florida. And then I won't look at chess because there's a Fisher Random tournament, which you can't prepare for, thankfully. So yeah, I mean, I'm done looking at chess for the next 3 weeks, basically. So maybe even more than that. Maybe the next 5 weeks, actually. So it's really, really nice to get a break from chess.
Very nice.
Okay, that is well deserved. Congratulations on your 2 tournament wins, Hikaru. Thank you, everyone who's been watching us. Thank you to Fiona, who did abandon us for some Germans mid-tournament. But we've been blessed with James Canty as the replacement. This will go down in history as the American Cup full of Italians and Italian opening in particular.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the way you said, I was a little bit sus at first, but yeah, I mean, what to do? That's modern day chess. Everybody and their brother wants to be Italian. So yeah, that it will definitely be remembered for that for sure. I mean, I think even towards the end, like I think I saw like there was a Mishra game on a board like right next to me, which was also mirroring my game against Sevian in the second to last round. Like, I mean, everybody wants to be Italian suddenly. I mean, I don't know why, but apparently they do. So, but yeah. Anyway, it was a lot of fun. I'm obviously gonna go do a recap, probably of the Levon game and the last game as well, and yeah, hope everybody enjoyed the stream, and I'll see everybody very, very soon for Title Tuesday. So hope you guys enjoyed it and have a great rest of your day and weekend and or start of the week, what am I saying, and everything else. So I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah.
Okay, see you guys. Bye.